Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox All in China, host Sega Forever. Got the Wrecking Crew podcast going on. Oh, Two Man, what's up, brother? Yeah, I'm just kicking it off now. I sent out invitations, waiting to see if the other guys can jump in today. Again, I know it's Saturday morning. For me, it's early. I waited till around 8 o'clock. Usually, I do about 6, 7 in the morning because on Saturdays I get up early. I usually head to the gym, man. I got to do a lot of stretching and cardio and stuff. Um, and so by the time I finish at the gym, by the time I come back, man, that's when I set up the podcast. So for some of the guys that are out there, man, it's usually midday for them. So hopefully they can jump in. I've sent out all the invitations, man, for everyone. Hopefully they'll jump in. I know I did a podcast yesterday. That was more of an all-in chat because I wanted to get the reaction of the people that come to the channel, man, that are Xbox and have stuff to say. Shout out to Marvels that was on yesterday that stopped in. Really cool guy. Has a cool channel. Definitely go check him out. I was looking at some of his videos yesterday. Strikes me as a total gamer, not just an Xbox guy, and that's something that a lot of the guys, including myself and Hebot and Sega Man, Unlimited Productions, gaming comes first and foremost. Even though we're Xbox all in. So, but Tool Man, yeah, welcome, brother. Sorry about the background noise, guys. Like I said, it's early in the morning. Man, for some reason, dude, we get a lot of planes and helicopters flying over nowadays, as you guys can hear. And so all the neighbors are waking up too. Dude, on a Saturday, man, you know how Saturdays are, man. People are just doing stuff in their yard. But I'm just gonna ramble a little bit, guys. About 6 minutes, then we'll get it done officially. I just want to say that for the title "Death of the Xbox Brand," dude, I'm not trying to bait anybody into coming in to the podcast. Though we do get some people from the other side that pop in, but we're going to talk about that directly. Yesterday, I was talking more about what Xbox did with them taking Forza Horizon 5 over and getting everybody's thoughts on that. Today's video, man, I really want to focus on exactly what the title says, the death of the Xbox brand, because there is a difference. If you guys follow me on this channel, you know I talk about PlayStation guys as brand gamers. Um, so they like the brand. As long as I've been gaming, man, and as long as I've had to deal with PlayStation, especially the Pony, with their fan base, they're very brand oriented when it comes to PlayStation, right? So in other words, right, like a lot of stuff is said about the consoles and how much they sell console wise, at the hardware, um, and that's a multitude of reasons. So, but for me, it's like you buy the hardware or you support Sony in that sense or the brand name, but what do you do about the gaming, right? How does that help the gaming industry in general? That's something that I've talked about a lot on this channel, or tried to talk about a lot, and that's why I kind of want to focus on the Xbox brand because I'm kind of on the other side when it comes to the Xbox brand. I'm taking heat from that from other Xbox guys because I'll sit here and say that Xbox really don't have fans, right? As you guys know, for me personally, my gamer tag is Sega Forever because I'm a huge Sega fan. I've transitioned over to Xbox because, like I said before, once Sega left the console market and the way that they've done their business, the way the brand has been for Sega, kind of transitioned over. Right, they become a third-party publisher, and then Xbox was the one making hardware. Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo. And I naturally gravitated over to Xbox because a lot of the stuff that Xbox did was very Sega-like, and in some instances, in my opinion, Sega influenced. Right, so it was a no-brainer for me to become an Xbox guy because of my connection to Sega. And look, dude, and in saying that, it wasn't hard for me to transition to being an Xbox fan, which I am. So when I tell people that Xbox has no fans, again, I told this story before. I just repeat it for the podcast, waiting for everybody to show up. My first initiation of that was the COD, because I'm a huge COD player, and everything that had to do with shooters back in the day. When it came to Xbox, Xbox was the shooter box. That's the title that they had. Um, in fact, it got lambasted for that by people who consider themselves more hardcore or play genre specific type of video gaming, right? And shooters was its own genre, and Microsoft sat upon that hill. But what happened eventually, before the Xbox One, Microsoft decided not to renew the relationship with Activision when it came to Call of Duty, and PlayStation picked it up. And what you did see was a migration of people to the PlayStation console, right? And also, it didn't help that Left 4 Dead, that there were certain franchises, um, especially that people on Xbox, and I know this firsthand because I played with a lot of these people. Most of my friends list was just people playing one or two games. Left 4 Dead was one of them. But there was just specific franchises that either went away, or in the case of like Call of Duty, they made a deal with Sony, and then people transitioned over to the PlayStation. Right? And PlayStation has always been their brand thing, and I know they never recovered from the 360. At least their fan base didn't. And of course, the media is full of people that are Sony PlayStation specific, as we can all tell. So it was an amalgamation of all this stuff that happened 10 years ago with the Xbox One, and which culminated in why Xbox is where it is right now. Right. And that's something that I just wanted to talk about today. If you guys have any comments, please feel free to comment. I'll try and answer as much as possible. You know how it is when all the guys start getting in here, and they start talking. In fact, I'm going to limit the amount of people I'm going to have in the podcast going forward. And the only reason I'm going to do that is because I'm probably going to drop um, this quick channel update. I'm probably going to drop my StreamYard because they raised the price on it, and it's kind of pricey. I didn't realize how much it costs, and I can't justify the cost for me using StreamYard to be paying more than what I was paying last time or last year. And I renewed my thing. I looked at it. I was like, wow, it's more expensive, and for me, it's not worth it. So you'll see that change on the channel. I kind of mentioned this in yesterday's video, and it's and then also when you have a lot of people on here, we're just gonna tighten it up a little bit. I'll do specific stuff with people, which will also help. Whether I want to talk to just specifically Hebot or Dea, or have like like if I'm talking about pop culture, right? Just having specific people in our group that talks about that, and of course the chat, dude. You're always gonna have you guys here. But just for today's video, that's what I want to kind of do moving forward. We're gonna talk about the Xbox as a brand, right? And of course this is in light of everything that's going on with Microsoft and Xbox. Like I said, I listened to Unlimited Production podcast that he had earlier this week, and it was really good, man. And he brought up a lot of topics that was interesting. Unfortunately, Unlimited won't be able to join us today, which is too bad because a lot of the stuff that he said in his podcast made a lot of sense, and a couple things I'm actually going to bring up for this podcast. Hey, what's up, Daniel, man? Welcome, brother. I'm getting back into the swing of things, dude. I'm looking at all the stuff with the WNBA right now. And then, of course, the Super Bowl is coming up. And a little bit on the wrestling, dude. Wrestling's actually been pretty good lately, dude. I know I haven't been covering like I want to. It's been busy. But the WNBA is in full swing for me, man. I've been watching the draft because they have the new franchise coming, and I think it's Golden State Valkyries. So I was catching up with everything. I'm ultra focusing on LA this year, more so than I did last year. If you guys followed my channel last year when I talked about the WNBA, man, just Caitlin Clark just sucked all the air out of her. So the focus for me was everything was all about her. But my team for the WNBA is actually the Sparks, and the reason I'm a Sparks fan, and not a good one, right? I never paid that much attention to the NBA and WNBA on the level that I did last year. But if I'm gonna support a team, it's gonna be the Sparks. Because I'm a Laker fan, right? It's LA Laker fan. So, and the Sparks, I like their franchise. I like their players. They got some pretty good players going forward. I heard that the Chinese player that they had on there that I like, I heard that she's going over to, I think she's going to Seattle or something, which sucks. I actually liked her. I thought she was really good too. But I'm doing my deep dive now, Daniel, dude, because I just love sports, dude. I do love sports. I'm not as hardcore as I used to be, man. But the WNBA, because everything that's going on, it feels fresh and new, right? For a lot of the stuff that I do on this channel, if you guys haven't figured it out now, yet, is that it's things that interest me, right? And that's definitely something that I'm paying attention to. I don't know if I'll get as hardcore back into baseball. The Pirates had a good season last season. Definitely like keeping up with the players and the team. But I'll probably do the deep dive on them coming up for this upcoming season, especially with Skenes they have the pitcher they have, Paul Skenes. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Yeah, man, he was exciting to watch last year. So I might even get the MLB pass just to follow them, dude. I told you guys, like, I don't have cable, so that's the hard part I have. So again, that's why I'm gonna downgrade on StreamYard, man, because it's and I know, look, dude, I know how everything is, that everything's costing more. And we can get into that as well because we can talk about Game Pass. But just give me some Just allow me to rant a little bit and see if these guys drop in. Let me send out the ring. Let me message these guys if I hold on. Let's see. Sent on Instagram. Right, I can't spell the Instagram. Okay. Normally I'll start this and we'll just be talking and then the guys will just jump in. But yeah, thanks for being here, Daniel, man. Dude, I don't even know who your favorite team is or who you're tracking in the WNBA if you're watching it. I kind of feel for them, man. I was looking at the somebody's video I was watching. They're breaking down the numbers. Man, they don't get paid hardly anything close to the NBA. And I understand the business metrics and stuff like that. But given the popularity of Caitlin Clark, man, a lot of people are upgrading. That's why they were able to do the expansion team. I think there's only one, right? Golden State Valkyrie. No, I think it would be kind of cool if Hawaii had one. I don't know if we have the market to support it. Probably not. There's a lot of people where I live. That's why they're fans of other teams from other states. Like I always was a Steeler fan my whole life. So Steelers, Pirates, and Penguins, and then of course the Lakers. But I don't know if my state could sustain an actual sports team. We had a semi-sports team back in the day when I was growing up called the Islanders. They were pretty good. They were a baseball team. But I don't think we have that type of market. And then most of the people here are moving to Vegas anyway. So Vegas having a market, dude, is pretty smart that they did that. I know back in the day with the gambling and everything like that, that was a no-go. But now who do they have? They have the Aces, which is WNBA team. They have the Knights, Vegas Knights, who actually won a Stanley Cup already for a new franchise, right? Then they have I know, and so this is my family are Raider fans, right? So they got the Raiders and then the A's. So the majority of the people in my family are Raiders and A's fans. But yeah, but we can move forward. What time is it? 8:04. Yeah, because I can't be on here too long, guys. I mean, I always say that, dude. Of course, if the other people jump on, then we'll probably go a little longer. But um, hopefully, you also get the chat. Best time to come in would be right now, right? But again, this is why. Hold on, let me write this down real fast. But again, that'll be the focal point of the podcast today. I say this all the time on my channel. When it comes to gaming, man, culture does matter. It's just something that's getting lost in translation. I know that we're transitioning to a new generation of people who play games, and they consume their media different. They consume their gaming differently. I see what Phil Spencer is saying with a lot of the people that are gaming now. They're just not tied down to one console or one place or one particular brand. But today I'm going to push back on that a little bit. At least I will. I don't know how the other guys feel about that, but I'm gonna push back a little bit because I think that still does matter, and I think the culture of gaming matters, right? Especially when I hear the messaging from Microsoft, specifically Phil and the people under him, how they're trying to save gaming in some aspect, which I can appreciate. I just don't like the white savior complex thing. I feel like that's like Phil. Phil has how can I put this? Like almost like a mission, right? That he wants to, and he said it multiple times, and how he wants to save gaming, right? And how he wants to make sure that the games are getting played everywhere, getting played by everybody, no barriers. He wants the publishers to succeed. He wants the game creators to succeed, and that's all great. That's great. In fact, I agree with most of that, right? And I benefit. I'm not a hypocrite, right? I benefit from a lot of that as well. The Idea at Xbox program has been a godsend for me as a gamer, right? Because there's a point in time in my life, like other things, doing something like video games, playing games, being in the culture of gaming for the majority of my life. You can end up getting jaded, and that is what was happening to me. Everything felt vanilla. Everything kind of felt the same. Every once in a while, you get something that would stick out, that would draw you back in. Even playing my gameplay, man, I was just sticking basically to shooters. because of this. Because number one, shooters, I like it; they're fun, but also they would fit my schedule. If I'm being honest, right? You could just pop in, place a couple rounds of COD, then pop out and go do what you need to do, whether it's going to work, running some errands, taking care of the kids, right? All of that stuff. So the gaming actually kind of fit my lifestyle, right? But again, if you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, right, you lose interest, and that's what was kind of happening to me in gaming. And then when Xbox One came out, the reason I gravitated to the one, part of it was the game. I mean, the biggest part was the game still, because being a Dreamcast guy, I got the Xbox One because of the games first and foremost. Because when I saw what they were bringing to the table with the launch titles, I was all in. Like it just reminded me again of the Dreamcast and the lineup that the Dreamcast had, and it took me back to even other consoles that released. Which ironically, right, when a console released, they didn't have a bunch of titles, right? You'd have your main title, like for Nintendo, would be Mario, for Sega would be Sonic, and then maybe sprinkle some games along the way. It actually wasn't until the Dreamcast that became a thing, right? And some say out of necessity. I'm not going to disagree with that, but again, at that time, Sega refocused, dude, and they were back on stride with the Dreamcast. It didn't work out for them, unfortunately. But when Xbox One released, dude, and I saw the amount of titles, though not as much as the Dreamcast launch, but they had a really hefty amount of titles. And also, what blew me away was the variety and the quality of the games, which to me, to this day, still stands the test of time. Right? And in fact, on the podcast with Unlimited, Hebot brought this up, where he said he saw an article, and in the article, people are looking back to the Xbox One now, now that we've gone through the console war stuff and how bad everything was from 2013 all the way to 2015, 2016. And then somewhat to this day, but it was really bad back then. How people are more reflective about it, right? And then they're looking back at the launch lineup and they're like, hey, these games are actually good. Some of these games are accessible now to people who wouldn't have given them the time of day, right? Which I think is sad, right? This is how I knew gaming changed in 2013, because people was just doing stuff that was, to be honest with you, man, anti-gaming. And it actually put me in a different spot and a different mindset with my gaming, right? And so, people, that's the first time I remember people actively going out there trying to destroy a console and games. And these guys are purportedly to be gamers. This is my first introduction to like the Sony Defense Force and the pony mentality, going to level 100, right? Because the Sony guys, the fans have always been a certain way. I never liked them when I was a Sega person. Ever since they came into the league, man, I couldn't stand these guys. And I mean, not the league. Sorry, I'm thinking about basketball. But everything ever since Sony came into the industry, I never really cared for it, in the sense of I liked it because I like Sony as an electronics company, but as a gaming company, I never cared for their stuff from the jump, right? Which changed over time. Oh, Dea's here. Hey, Dea.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, good afternoon for you. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
Uh,
before we get started, Dea, I'm not sure if you're listening to what I was saying.
no, I
Um,
just hopped in.
yeah, so I'm not trying to catfish anybody because of the title, right? I'm not trying to get any clicks. I'm not trying to be toxic. But the name of the title for the podcast is "Death of the Xbox Brand."
Yeah, and you're right,
Yeah,
but I'll explain that later.
yeah. So yesterday I did my little. I wanted to do the online chat because I wanted to get a feel from everybody about what they thought about Forza Horizon 5. Um, that was specific to the console, and people shared a lot of different thoughts. I gave my own, which I thought was really good. But this one is specifically about the brand itself, and I think we talked about it last time we did a podcast because we were
Yeah,
talking about exclusivity and stuff like that.
right, right.
Yeah, so that I'm not trying to get clicks or views.
Okay,
Um,
I know
because,
you.
yeah, yeah, because I think it does matter. That's why I was just ranting about it a little bit. I think
Hmm.
culture and gaming matters.
It does. I
Yeah.
believe so too. Yeah.
And I taught, I mentioned Phil. There's things I love about Phil.
Hmm.
Um, and because I think he believes that as well.
Yeah.
I just don't like the direction that they're going in.
Of
And
course.
Unlimited and Hebot and I think E-Rock was on the podcast today. Unlimited had an awesome podcast. I actually listened to it twice because they were making such
Wow.
great points. Um, but they were just making such great points, and
Right.
I think they hit the nail on the head when it comes to the direction, right? And
Right.
look, Segment talked me off of the cliff
Did he? Oh, he
Yeah,
did a
last
good
week.
thing.
You know me, Dave. I was just too politically charged. I was just doing other stuff, and then when I came
Right.
in, right, I'm seeing all these people, and I just kind of lost, not lost my cool, but I was kind of like, you know what, feeling some sort of way. Then City Man's like, hey, dude, relax, you know.
You're allowed to be human, you know.
Right, right. I kind of feel, because normally I don't get that way, but I was like, you know, sometimes it gets tiring, you know,
Right, right.
because they had such a great showcase, right?
Fantastic. And they're going to have more, you
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah. In fact, after that, so what I did was the next day I played Ninja Gaiden, and then Phil
Been
Spencer,
playing
my
that
favorite
too.
guy. Yeah,
I've
I
been
played Ninja.
addicted. I've been addicted to Ninja Gaiden Black, man. Whew, that's such a good game.
It's awesome, you
Hmm.
know. And then as soon as I started playing, I was like, "Oh, Phil, you're the best.
Yeah, me
You're
too.
awesome. I'm
I was like,
Jump."
I'm on board. If you're doing this, and I have a lot I want to talk about. I want to put it in context, so I don't want to just sprinkle it here. But yeah. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was on board too with you.
yeah.
Hmm.
But after I played it, I was just like nonstop playing it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, dude,
Same. It's
um,
such a good game. Yeah.
it's such a great game." And I mean, look, I mean, and it's a remaster, and it's a remaster. I feel that they did real correctly, you know. So for me personally, I was kind of like, yeah, dude, I need to kind of like, and that's why I said the other video I did, unlimited. You know, sometimes it's good we listen to our younger. I know I'm an elder of the community, but sometimes the young guys, you gotta listen to them.
Right.
And Unlimited's always talked about, hey man, just focus on games. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
So, I mean, I am making some course corrections with my stuff. I
Okay.
definitely am moving forward.
You have
Um,
okay. I want to tell you this and everybody in the chat. And I just want to can I take a moment to say hi to the chat?
yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to say hello to man. I saw you say hi to me. Thank you. And hello to Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
Basically, I think that what we have to learn to do, because there's going to be a lot of changes, and this isn't just Xbox, by the way. Um, it's just that Xbox is doing it first, and they're not being gentle with taking off that band-aid. I think they slowed down a little bit
yeah,
to a point where they was trying to get people used to it, but people just every time they made an action, they just kind of I'm selling my Xbox for the fifth time.
yeah,
So so they realize that what, this isn't working. We just need to rip off the band-aid. We need to go ahead and let them see this is where we're going. But people hopefully now understanding that there's no longer gatekeeping the games, at least for Xbox, that now they need to step back and see what is Xbox actually doing.
right,
Like, they're not trying to sabotage themselves to where they're out of the gaming business. We know that because they wouldn't invest close to $70 billion in just the ABK deal, probably 100 million if you add in ZeniMax with that,
right,
plus the court cost and everything probably 100 million, so they wouldn't invest that much if they were going to just put themselves in a position where they killed their brand and killed their game. Now, in the sense that you're correct about oh, hi T Reaper, I
yeah.
didn't
Hey,
know.
what's up, T?
You're right in the title, and I want people to understand this, that the death of the Xbox brand is true in that the old Xbox has died. You
Mm,
understand?
yeah,
That they're not going to operate the way they did. All right. So, like, this is something that people are going to have to accept. And it's happened for PlayStation 2. These people are just too delusional to see it. They're never going to be what they was in the PlayStation 4
yeah,
ever again. Okay? They're never going to be that. They've lost the talent. They've lost the people that made that brand the way it was. Remember, they had a lot of people who got fired or laid off and all. They've gotten rid of studios. They're never going to be what they were either, but we're not the ponies. We're not delusional over here. Okay. So what I want to do is to get the Xbox gamer to calm down. They finally ripped off the band-aid. I was waiting on Phil to do it. That's why you guys never heard me say that they was never going to not put everything on PlayStation, because Phil actually was saying that when he said that red line mark, he meant it.
yeah,
But what we got to do now is take a step back and see what it is that they're doing. Well, they no longer believe in using games to drive people to the hardware. And I know this is going to be a hard pill for people to accept.
Yeah, I'm
That's
one of
the old model, right? You use your games to drive people to buy your hardware because the hardware was important. But hardware no longer is, because the younger gamer is not really attached to hardware. They're not. And they can play, they much more flexible about where they play and what they play on. It's really the games that drive people, you know. So like if Fortnite just suddenly disappeared on every platform and only appeared on Epic, everybody would flock over there because it's the game. It has nothing to do with what hardware they're playing on, because it's everywhere. It's
Mm.
not the hardware, it's the software. And this is what Xbox is trying to do. They're trying to transition the market to be software based. Okay, they want the games to do the speaking, not the hardware. The hardware has a place, don't get me wrong, but they want the software to drive the movement. If you do that, it does not matter where your hardware is or who's selling what. Um, it only matters where you can access that game. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to change the game as we know it.
Do you think they'll be able to?
I don't know, because they're doing something that's never been done in the gaming market.
I've had people say to me, and it's a great reference. In fact, Power On, the documentary we like to talk about all the time. You know, when they gave the brief description about Microsoft, they went right to the software with Windows.
Mm-hmm.
My only pushback on people that were saying that to me was that, well, okay,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that you have to realize was Windows was one of a kind, right? And it's one of those moments in history that they created something that was new. They were the pioneers of that, and it was successful. And so they've been untouchable, and they've dominated that for years, right? Um, for me, it's kind of like gaming is for Xbox is not like that, right? The gaming industry existed way before most of the companies we have now, right?
Right, right.
That participate in it, but Microsoft actually came in a little later than most. Even though I know people like to
Actually,
like,
not actually, that's not true. They've been in gaming in the software side longer.
yeah,
Because
on
if
the,
you look at, I always tell people this, look how old Microsoft Flight Sim is, and you'll understand how long they actually was
yeah,
into gaming. They just
I-
wasn't in the console space that
yeah.
long.
So that's why I'm pushing on that too, right? Because that's kind of my argument, right? Because it was always about the hardware when it came to gaming, right? With Atari, then eventually
Right, in that
Nintendo,
time. Right,
at
yes.
that time. So you're breaking into a market that was already established. So that's why my mentality is kind of like that. You know, I had to do some soul searching myself about all this stuff, right? Because I see myself becoming as a gamer, especially as a console gamer, the way I looked at comic books 20 years ago. Like I knew it was over. Um, and the thing that sealed it for me with comic books was distribution. When I realized how the industry was actually run and how what a lock a company, like especially one specific company, had on the distribution of comic books, right? That it took away, and I'm not saying this is what's happening with Xbox, but it took away my ability to move within comic books, right? Like if I didn't like what Marvel was doing or DC or any comic book company, I could always shift and go somewhere else. And the distribution model took that away from me.
Right, right.
Okay, so that made me transition away from reading comic books completely.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Not a one for one, but that's what I'm saying. Like what I'm saying is like I'm reading the tea leaves. And granted, I'm coming from more of a console person perspective, right? And so when I look at what Phil's doing, and Unlimited made a great point in his podcast. He said he thinks because it's so unlike Phil, some of the stuff that he's doing, that he feels like it's coming from higher up. And my problem with that is that the software mentality of Microsoft isn't the same as the software mentality of people who in the culture of gaming. Do you see what I'm saying?
What do you mean
That
by
makes
that? Can
sense.
you elaborate?
Like I think with Microsoft, like especially when I listen to Satya, right? He thinks in those terms is like, yeah, we'll put it out there for everybody
Hmm.
to participate to get.
Right.
Um, but that's to me, that's not a gaming culture thing, right? Uh, Hardware matters, brand matters. Even if you're a PC person, right? Your hardware does matter because of the type of PC you have. Um,
Yeah, but brand loyalty doesn't. Like,
Yeah,
you got people have all kinds of PCs and stuff. They don't really, I don't care what they play on. It's their money, and as long as they can run a game, I don't really care, But it's like it's not in the same sense as it is in console. You're right, it is a culture among console. I don't really see it as such in the PC area. I don't. People play on different stuff, laptops, desktops, whatever. It's just
yeah.
different
But
brands.
it's most people that have PC, laptop. Like even my daughter, she's one of the rare people. Most of her friends are on phone,
Okay, okay,
but she's the only one that has She plays on console.
right,
So that's what I'm saying, right? So like console, you have your PC, and you have your mobile,
right,
which is
right,
so in that sense.
right, right.
Um, and so that's the way I'm looking at it, and that's what made me think about the brand, right? Because Xbox, as always, in my opinion, after the 360 era, kind of struggled with that. Right?
Hmm.
Even the negative stuff about Xbox as a brand was awesome, right?
Right.
Um, but
Well,
after,
may I ask you
okay,
a question? I don't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to, before I lose thought, how do you think they could have solved this? Because I don't believe the future is going to be hardware, and that includes even with the PC. I think that ultimately it's going to come down to software only.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I think, in the long run, we're talking about far distant future. We're talking about when streaming is equal to like your hardware and stuff, you might as well kiss hardware goodbye when that hits, right? And they're striving to get to that point. So what I'm thinking is like, you know, I look at it this way. I know you're saying like you think the culture is with the console, and that's true because that's how the ecosystem was set up.
yeah.
But do you think that it's possible to have that same type of culture, but among people who are like-minded? Like maybe it's you coalesce around a certain game. So like let's say you are huge Halo fans,
Mhm.
regardless of where you play it at, right? You just huge Halo fans, and then you might have these forums and stuff where people come together that just all talk about Halo. It doesn't really matter what they playing it on, but everybody talks about their Halo experiences. When they first play Halo, their best time in Halo and stuff. What groups out there who can I join to play on Halo nights or something. I mean, can you still have culture without the hardware, from your opinion?
Oh no, so uh, I just say this eventually it should go away, right? Because the technology is changing and it's changing. But that is something of a like I see in the younger generation coming up, and that's why I do see what Microsoft is trying to do. They're trying to get ahead of that curve, right?
Right, right.
But it's still ingrained in the culture now. And this is
It
why we
is
have
right now.
ridiculous, yeah.
Yep.
That's why we have ridiculous culture wars that people participate in, right? So, um, so to your point, I think it's still I think it's still necessary, and I think Microsoft knows it's necessary. But I also agree with you that they basically, like you said, ripped the bandit off. In fact, I think Unlimited said the same thing.
Yeah, that they
Some,
had
some
they had to force us to accept this path because they have to stay firm on it because Microsoft sincerely believes that they could not continue on the path as it was. They would
oh,
not have survived if they did, from their
well, okay,
perspective.
so I'll give you my commentary on that, and it's something that I believed in. But again, I'm an old head, right? Somebody who's from a generation when consoles really did dominate on that level. For me personally, I would have preferred them to go the nuclear option with all of this, right? And what I mean by that is, if they wanted to, right, they do have the power and the money, right, to take over the gaming industry, right? But what I'm seeing Microsoft is doing, they've decided to go the death by a thousand cuts kind of thing. And
I agree with
I even
that.
don't like,
I agree with that. Yeah.
but I don't even like saying that because of the way Phil's personality is. When I hear him talk about things, I see him as a person was like, look, the economy, the gaming, or let's say the microeconomy of the gaming, right? They weren't selling as many games. Supposedly they were selling consoles, but I know they definitely wasn't selling consoles. I think everybody they were not selling consoles on the level that they wanted to. And on top of that, the
Right.
selling of the console to the one-on-one with the software wasn't. There was nothing good about what they were doing. I think, like in Microsoft's case, they always look for the bigger number. But I think most people were like, "Hey, at least we're not going backwards." That's the way I looked at it. So for me, I'm kind of like, dude, I know that you notice that people are struggling. I know because we benefit from Phil's philosophy, right? It's like I did Xbox. Like he wants people to be able to create games. He wants the industry to be healthy. He wants you, no matter where you are, to play what you want to play. Right? He wants to do all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But at some point in time, I look at some of the stuff he's doing, and I'm like, bro, you can't save the entire industry, man. That is beyond you. You know, you're gonna have to
Well,
let certain things happen.
he does want the industry to be healthy, which is why they acquire certain companies that they do. But
Yeah.
I'll say this: what people are missing a lot of points that feel like and the team is doing. Hold on
Mhm.
for a second, okay? I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
Oh no, go ahead. Hey, what's up, T? What's up, Sega? Not in. Yeah, I know, dude. I had the same thing with Gogo. Gogo's like trying to talk me off the ledge, and I'm fine, dude. But again, I am an old school gamer, dude, and this is stuff I look at realistically because that's how I consume the media of gaming. It's not just an emotional thing. It's just like, okay, what direction are we going into, right? And then how am I going to participate, like financially, time, where I'm gonna, what type of resources, right? All of that, I factor all that in, and then again, then I play COD, and then I'm fine, right? So it's nothing that level, but I mean, I think this is a thing, dude, that everybody has to consider. Some people care about it more than others. For me, it's more about the console side, right? The direction that they're going into, as they was saying, it's very forward thinking. So, and Phil is a man of his word, is he not? There? Yeah, yeah. I think Phil, and I think that's why Phil is doing things the way he is, which I have no problem with on that. Just for me personally, I just don't. I don't. There's a lot of reasons why the gaming industry is in trouble, dude, and it goes outside of just gaming. It can be political, it can be
Okay.
cultural. Just real quick, I'll wrap this up there and you can get back to it. But
Oh,
there's a
okay.
lot of reason why the gaming industry is in trouble like they are, right? It's political, it's geopolitical, it's technology, right? It's choices that they've made, right? With hardware, there's a litany of reasons
Hmm.
why they find themselves where they're at now.
Okay.
So it's in that reaction and how they're trying to address it that I have some problems with,
Okay.
and I'm talking about across the board.
Okay.
I was responding to T. So okay, go ahead. Yeah, the floor is yours.
Okay. I know people probably didn't think I would be defending Xbox at this time, and then, the way, because I was upset about things too,
Yeah, I
But
get it.
Microsoft has me thinking. I'm a type of person who looks at people's behaviors and try to get into their mind to see why they're making the decisions they're making.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you now, if you want to blame somebody for the direction that Microsoft is going, it's two things you have to blame. It's the shifting of the market when it comes to cloud gaming, streaming, AI. All of these things are playing a big role in it. And
Hmm.
secondary, it is what you guys asked for. Phil has been diligently trying to answer every complaint from the past, everything that people have asked of them. And I think he's been marking off each of those things on the list. But the one thing that he could not completely solve is, how do I solve the game skipping the platform problem? Okay, how do I solve that? He
Okay.
tried to reach out to Japan, he tried to reach out to these places, and for whatever reason, even when he thought he had a somewhat of a decent relationship with these developers and publishers, they still favor PlayStation over Xbox, which made no sense, because who turns down money? Who does that? These
Hmm.
people was acting even against their own interests, and we saw that with Square Enix, right? It took them to be falling off a cliff for them to realize this. Um, so Phil looked at this and said, you know what, how do I solve this problem? I can't seem, he tried this gen to get people to buy the Xbox Series S and X on value. He gave it, and still is incredible value on this side of the fence. So he's like, okay, I'm going to offer them the very best value. And if they just stay a little bit patient with us in the beginning, because, COVID, everything else,
Yeah.
um, kind of delayed them. They was like, the games are coming, and then people saw the acquisitions and things like that, so they knew the games were coming. However, still in the report, it seems like nobody will buy their consoles. Nobody wants access to their games. So I think Phil was like, okay, look, we're gonna have to do something different here. But I do have to solve this problem where, there's platform holders and developers and all that stuff who won't place their games in our ecosystem. They skip us for whatever reason. Even with Game Pass, you had some of these terrible deals with PlayStation still being made, which shocks me even to this day. When you can partner up with Xbox, get money up front, and still be able to release your game everywhere. I don't understand why they choose PlayStation over Xbox. It makes no sense to me, but they still do it, right? So here's the fundamental answer to that question. And Phil kind of gave people insight to this, but they all overlooked it. Is that Moon Studios recently brought out that they would have made No Rest for the Wicked with Microsoft, but the problem that they had, and Moon Studios saw this coming. They were very future thinking. Okay, they want their games everywhere, and it didn't mean that they hated the Xbox platform, but it meant that they saw that they could make more money and it was healthier for their game to be everywhere, right? So they just went multi-platform. They don't hate Ori, they don't hate the Xbox gamer. It's a decision that a lot of people are making now that they made early on, right? They said we want to put our games everywhere. But at that time Xbox wasn't doing it. So they had to part, ways, still amicable but part ways. And then Phil realized we just lost a good deal with a good developer who knows how to make excellent games, because I think they've been very satisfied with the Ori series, all over the fact that their games couldn't go everywhere. So I think that Phil, again, remember the gamer asked for this, they still do. They want Phil to solve the problem of how do we make sure that the Xbox platform has no barriers when it comes to people placing games on their platform. Well, the solution to that was to allow the developers to place games anywhere, whether they be, their internal games, which they did do that first under Game Pass. But now with Xbox themselves partaking in that for different for that reason plus different reasons. I think they saw the internal numbers, but also when they got ABK, they also saw the numbers and they realized that this was the healthiest approach moving forward for them, because it doesn't burden the gamer, and at the same time it makes them incredibly attractive to developers. They have literally no reason to not develop games for the Xbox platform. Does not matter how many consoles they actually have, because their ecosystem is outreaching, right? So he has tried to make the Xbox platform the most developer friendly and gamer friendly, with the value and everything, as he possibly could. With the Xbox gamer, they had to give up something though. They had to give up exclusivity. Something has to give. You can't keep it all. So he realized that I have to give up exclusivity. We have to do something, because if I want all these games, something has to go. And I think he was trying to educate the gamer in this sense, but nobody really understood it. It was so stuck on the old way, on the old ways of how things are done. And because this has never been done by a company that has both a platform and they're a large publisher and all that stuff. You've never quite had something like this happen before. It's people get scared. It's so much unknown going out there, and then at the same time you have the market changing. So I think all of these things are piling on to the fears. But I believe that Phil tried to position, and I believe him when he says this, that he tried to position Xbox in this healthiest state, not only moving forward, but with the gamer and with developers and publishers willing to place their games on their platform, knowing that no matter how many consoles they've sold, it could be 20 million, it really doesn't matter, that they can still place their games everywhere and assure that their games will remain healthy. Now, what are we seeing? We're seeing people abandoning PlayStation because of that very reason. Xbox has already overcome that. They've
Wait, wait. So
already
you
done
think
that.
people are abandoning PlayStation? Like
They're,
in which
they're
way?
like right, not entirely. You're right. I'm talking about the exclusivity stuff. Yes, they are, because they understand that that's going to be the death of them. Now you got these like small little studios that they'll find maybe in South Korea or something like that, or China, something like that, that will be too dumb to understand what's good for them, and they're going to make those same mistakes that big publishers have already made, learned from, and have moved away from. They're going to start making those same mistakes. So you're going to get smaller publishers, double A, single A, that might do it, right? but you're never going to get the big ones because Capcom learned quick with Street Fighter V. They learned that real fast. Oh, they like, no, we ain't never doing this again, and they never looked back. It took one time for them to make that mistake, and that was it. They did exclusivity and stuff in the past before too, but I think Street Fighter V was a big wake up call for them. And then it took Square Enix to the point that their company was falling apart before they realized it. And Pearl Abyss, a very I think that's the name of the company, Pearl Abyss, right? The one that's gonna make that Crimson
Yeah, that's
game.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
Blizzard is their big title.
Okay, yeah. So they learned they were much smarter than a lot of other developers. They was like, we kind of saw what happened to these companies. We don't want to even begin to go down that route. So they like, no, PlayStation offered them the bag. No, you can keep your bag. We're gonna place our stuff everywhere. And they know they still have like a company like Xbox as an option because Xbox would never keep them from placing their games everywhere. They don't ask or demand that they don't place the games on PlayStation. So if you guys really want to know why some of this stuff is happening, why exclusivity had to go, it was put on the altar in order to make other things happen. You couldn't have it all. And I think that when they weighed the pros and cons and seeing how many benefits them as a company, the developers have, as well as the gamer have, because you can play your games anywhere, and no matter how much the industry changes, your games will follow you. This is why they're putting these things in place, is because yes, they had to force you to give up your exclusivity. They understand how hard that is. They understand even some of the damage to the brand that has done. But
Oh,
in the
I
long
think,
run,
yeah.
that they believe that they got more benefits for that trade-off than they did cons.
I
And
mean, I
so
personally think the brand is pretty much gone. I'm
it
talking about
is. It
Xbox.
is as it once was, and they're
Yeah.
reformed. Think of it like a phoenix, right? The old phoenix has died and burned up, and the new phoenix is being born. What Xbox is going to look like at the end of this, we don't quite know yet because they're still working through it. But they're not going anywhere, so they're not dead in the sense that they're dead like that. But they're dead. The old brand as it was and how they conducted things is. But what they're becoming, we don't know. It may be something glorious, and what they all everything that they've set in motion may turn out in their favor. And if that is, they're already they're the number one publisher in the world
I
already.
mean,
They've reached that in 1 month. Now I don't know if they maintain it. We're going to see how the cadence of the games and all that stuff, but I think they're going to have that cadence, and they're hitting these milestones already there right at the beginning.
well, I
So
mean, for me, that's a no-brainer because they got
right,
caught, right? So
well,
like I
it's
see
not
people.
even just COD though. Just look at the output. You know,
No, no, no. Yeah, I know about the output, but like
you're
the
right.
biggest thing, like when they were releasing some of those numbers, right? I'm like, yeah, did you guys have COD?
Yeah, COD is
COD is your biggest thing.
yeah,
If you didn't have
yeah,
COD, and I go, they have COD, they have Overwatch, which I think that was smart of them, right?
right,
Because
exactly,
and I know they understood that when they bought them.
exactly,
Yeah. That's
right,
why the 80 billion pales in comparison. Even to this day, I can just jump on right now. Even I've never had a time when I play COD and there's different various modes. A couple of the modes I had to wait a little bit.
right.
But for the most part, every time I jump on COD, there's always a game that you can get into.
Very good. They just run COD so well. You know,
Oh, with Game
execution is
Pass
very
too.
very good.
Game Pass is the early entry. I know they're making money off of the 30. I'm not that. So the only reason I say that is I was expecting it to be that way. Is what I'm saying.
Right,
Just from the way I utilize my Xbox. In fact,
right,
I have to challenge myself almost daily to play games outside of the games that I normally play, right?
right.
Because that's the struggle when you have something like Game Pass. They just dropped what 5 games this week
Hmm.
or 3 games, right? 3 or 5. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I think it's like 5.
Man,
All
there's
of
so
which are
many games. There's no way we're gonna even be able to play them all. I'm just telling
right.
y'all now. It's just not going to be.
Yeah. It's crazy. And then Sniper Elite, one of the I
I
can't play it right
know.
now, right?
I
Because
know.
there's but Eternal Strands dropped.
Yeah, that's already, and I'm not even on that because number one, I got busier, but two,
Yeah.
I had to drop Indiana Jones for Ninja Gaiden because who wouldn't, man? And Ninja Gaiden was such a surprise to me. I was so pleasantly surprised. I
Mm.
was like, I got to play that. Now I'm addicted to that. But I'm like, that's going to be my new normal because, and we had no clue that Ninja Gaiden was even being made.
Yeah, that was
thanks
crazy.
to Microsoft because they
Yeah.
paid for it.
That was awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
They pay for that. They're going to pay for the other one coming up.
yep,
But like you said, it's multi-platform though, right? Exactly like you said.
exactly.
It's not going to be exclusive. Um, and that doesn't bother me as much as like if a Halo went over, which
I
will
think I
probably
think Halo is. I think
I think
Gears is.
everything is at this. Yeah,
Everything is gonna go.
yeah,
So,
everything's going to go.
but if they're gonna commit to this, they're gonna commit to it. That's just what it is. They're gonna commit to it 100%.
Well, they might
But
as well.
but
Yeah,
Phil believes that again. He had to give that exclusivity up, but he in exchange for it, he is going to give you value. And I know people are saying, well, Game Pass doesn't fit everybody. That's something too. It doesn't fit everybody, but he's going to do it in two ways. He's going to make sure he's still going to keep his promise about the console. So I think that next console is going to blow people's minds away. I really believe them when they say that. And
yeah.
I think it's going to be fantastic. And
I
also,
mean,
they're going to cover every market, whether it's handheld, everything. They're going to make sure they're covering
yeah,
everything. So no matter if you change as a gamer or if the person coming behind you, the younger person, is coming in who has different habits, they'll be able to meet that right up front.
yeah. I mean, I believe Sarah when she said what she said.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
why I believed her too is the way that she said it. She had to try and check herself.
Right.
Being new to the game, you don't want to get too much information. I thought it was cute actually when she said what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. And again, I'm gonna, I'm like unlimited, right? I mean, I have to buy the next console. I have 900 games.
Right.
It's ridiculous, right? And so I'm like, dude, there's no way. In fact, that's one of the things I'm gonna do. I'm just like, dude, I gotta get on these games. I gotta at least play some of them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, and I could start off with the little ones and work my way up. But then you
Right.
got Phil over here dropping. Oh, by the way, Sniper Elite 2 and Eternal Strands.
Right.
Oh, did you play this game? Here's a game that you might like. And then it was Creatures of Ava. And so I started playing that. I was like, oh, this game's actually pretty solid.
Wow.
Art
Wow.
style, pretty cool story. Casa, it got tagged with the DEI tag.
Did it?
Yeah, yeah, because it's associated with I forgot the name of that company.
Oh,
So,
that sweet baby.
yeah, I don't know if it's Sweet Baby, yeah, but a Sweet Baby S type. These guys are doing the
Yeah,
game.
a lot of them. What people don't understand about those Sweet Baby Inc. S type companies, some of them was like a store, forcing companies to comply with them, if you will, in order to get the stamp, even if they didn't even do nothing for the game.
Oh,
Right? These
yeah,
people was just. It's shocking, but yeah, if people look up what Sweet Baby was doing, I know the other companies was doing similar things, but
yeah.
Sweet Baby, for instance, was like, oh, that woman said it herself that you could put pressure on these developers and publishers, making it seem like it's something wrong with their game or something like that, unless they pay you. She said it, and
Yeah,
so
it was their
you know,
mission statement, basically. Yeah.
right. And so I don't believe that Sweet Baby worked on every game. That they actually did hard work on every game. I think in some cases people just basically bribed them, paid them off to get the Sweet Baby stamp on there so they can be left alone. That's what I believe.
I mean, and in some instances, right? But I'm playing the game and I'm like, okay, I could see where people might think it's like that. It's not heavy-handed, in my opinion. I ran into that problem with Squid Game 2. People was like, oh, you like that? Do you like that? You like Squid Game 2? I was like, yeah, it was good. And they're like, oh, it has DEI stuff in there. I'm like, dude, it's not DEI.
I know people need to look at the games themselves.
Yeah,
They said Indiana Jones had DEI and they had none in there.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think they swinging around that term just loosely, and I
No,
recommend people really to look at each game because I think that could have hurt some of the sales for
well,
Indiana.
I know it definitely hurt some of the stuff, right? Because I know guys
Mhm.
that canceled their for the collector's
That's
edition.
too bad. That's too bad too because the
Yeah,
game is phenomenal.
yeah. So
You know?
for me personally, I looked at that like so when people questioned me about Squid Game, I was like, bro, you don't. I said, bro, you have no idea about the culture of Korea and how hardcore conservative they are with their society, right? And so people kind of found out when they found out about one of the characters is played this guy Thanos in the show,
Mm-hmm.
and he's played by a popular K-pop singer and rapper, and so
Okay.
he's from one of the biggest groups ever, right?
Right.
When they started doing a deep dive, and they found out that this dude was canceled. He tried to kill himself,
Oh wow.
and so when they found out why, is like the reason why is he smoked pot and then you
Yeah,
lied
they
about
don't mess around with that stuff over there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the pressure was so hard from the community, the society itself, right?
Right.
And they're brutal, right? So
Yeah.
you know, so again, so my point being is like, if you actually watch the show and if you know about the background of it, the stuff that we complain about here in the U.S. is nothing to what they have to deal with over there. So that's why I didn't have a
Agreed.
problem with it. But then again, that goes into what you were kind of saying earlier, right? There's little degrees of all this stuff, right? That you got to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like why I'm trying to find. Like I'm looking at myself first before we start. You know, I was looking at what Microsoft is doing because you always have to do that. You have to check yourself first, and then I realize, hey, I have some biases towards the stuff that they're doing, right? I'm an older gamer. I check myself, see the direction, and then ultimately, that if you want to participate in it or not, I think that's fair.
Right. And I think that's fair. It may some people may just say, I like the way things were. I was much more comfortable with that.
Mhm.
Now I'm gonna let y'all know. Those of you flocking over to PlayStation is going over there in vain because I'm just saying Microsoft right now is bleeding PlayStation dry. They're dumping everything over there. And if and Sony is not going to even look for every release that they have, Microsoft will have 5. Think about that. You can't, you can't. Right now, people. Let's take Forza Horizon 5. People are pre-order excited.
I'm so sorry. Please continue, but I have to go check something really fast. I'm gonna meet my man.
Okay, okay, no problem. Okay, so take Forza Horizon 5. Okay, a lot of people, on the other side saying, "Oh, I'm pre-order. I'm getting," they trying to flaunt it in front of the Xbox face. And before I say anything, hi, Mr. Keem. I forgot to say hi to you. I didn't mean to be rude. Sometimes I'm caught up into what Sega Forever is saying. But yeah, like Forza Horizon 5 is going over there, but they don't realize that for every Xbox game that they support, and I mean I can't blame them because Forza Horizon 5 is a fantastic game. I personally would have made that game of the year because it was that good. But a racer can't win the Keeley Awards, right? But anyway, um, because okay, look, you gotta look at every gamer from this perspective. You're competing both Sony and Microsoft or PlayStation and Xbox. They're competing for the gamer's time and money. Those are two things you're competing for. So if you have okay, so you got one player, okay? So let's say they're both fighting over this one player. They both want that player's time and money. So depending on the game, some games are very quick. You can beat them fast, and so therefore, the time is not an issue. But let's say, let's take Forza. Forza Horizon 5 is a game you can sink hours into. It's a game you can hop in and out, but who would? It's a
Yeah.
game you can sink hours into. At this point in time in Forza's lifespan, you have all these expansions and stuff like that, like the Lego tracks and all this stuff. So people are gonna want to enjoy those different tracks and stuff if they like Horizon. They're gonna want to explore Mexico. Who isn't? It looks incredible in that game. So they're gonna want to do the different races and do the different festival stuff and all that. They're gonna want to play the game, right? So that's a time sink. So Sony is competing with um Sony is competing with Xbox for that time sink. So every game that their gamer buys of software that they buy from Microsoft, they're losing that gamer's time because it's only so much time in a day you can spend playing games, right? And then money. Now let's face it,
Mm.
the PlayStation gamer has no way to save money. They getting fleeced over like like nobody's business. I mean, they pay for everything. I mean, they getting no deal. So they're spending way more to game than we are. Whether it's their subscription service and stuff, and they're getting less value in place of that. Whereas our subscription service, yeah, it might be around the same price, but we're saving on the game side of things. So we're saving money. Our console costs less, right? So we're saving money. So we have more money to spend elsewhere. That's not true of the PlayStation gamer. So, and then Microsoft knows how to price their games. Not all their games are at 60. Now I think Forza will
Yeah.
be, but it might be a little off because it's an older game. But yeah, they don't say because like Hellblade 2 was what, $50 or something? I can't remember what it debuted
I,
as, but
yeah, I could see them doing like 49 or even 39 just to
for
get
for
them.
Forza?
Yeah, Forza 5.
Really? Oh
How
wow,
much do
that's
we
a
charge?
deal.
No, because like how much do we charge? Well, I guess that they do have to. They got somebody that they contracted to make it, right? So I got to take that into
Right,
consideration.
right.
But I think we can. Like I think they had it on sale for like 29 not too long ago.
Really? Oh, okay. I could be wrong. Please forgive me. I don't know. I bought Forza the day it dropped, so I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
But um, but what I'm trying to tell you guys is that this is what Sony sees. Sony is not happy about all these games dropping on because they have to compete with Xbox for this.
did you
And
see what?
X, oh,
Did
I'm
you see
sorry,
what
sorry.
Mr. Kima?
Oh, what'd he say?
Just real quick. Hey, Mr. Kima, welcome to the podcast. But Mr. Kima says PlayStation is now a storefront for third parties.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And you know who's forcing them to be like that is Microsoft because they keep flooding their gamer with their games. And their games have to compete against the Microsoft games. And regardless of what people are telling you, like for instance, okay, Ghost of Yotai is the next game they got coming out this year, right? Ain't that game coming out this year?
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay. Now, honestly, with the reaction that people had with Ninja Gaiden, what game you think they might I'll put it this way, even if they do well with Ghost of Yotai, they gonna strip away some of these, especially if those two games drop around at the same time. They're gonna strip away some of them gamers to Ninja Gaiden 4. Because after seeing the reaction to Ninja Gaiden 4, that's competition now for the over the PlayStation game. So they're fighting for their own consumers within their own platform. That's not a position that no platform holder wants to be in. They're fighting just to get access to that little bit of money in that time for the gamer to just take a look at their games and play their games. That's not good. And if people think that, like these ponies think that's a good scenario, it's not, because Microsoft dropped it after what we saw with the developer direct. That's just the first half of the year.
yeah.
Just the first half of the year. You had people talking about for the first time, I think I need to get Game Pass and all this. So now they're spending their money on a separate service so they can access these games, which again takes away from their gaming time and their gaming money because you only got so much to work with. This is a bad scenario for PlayStation.
I think one of the things I noticed, which I thought was pretty big, me
What's that?
personally,
What's that?
so Herman Hulst is gone, right?
Yeah.
And now uh, Sony actually drew back, and their new president is actually Japanese.
Okay.
So I think
They got rid of the what was Homer Hurst? European? He was European, right?
yeah, so I think
Yeah.
they're refocusing. Like, this is my assumption. Like, they're gonna pull away from the Western market because
Oh.
those are ultra focused to come back to the Japanese market.
Oh,
And then
okay.
with Mr. Kima saying this PlayStation is now a storefront for third parties, and that's just one thing about
It
Japanese.
kind of is because they don't produce many games, and the few they do, I mean, like they look like Steam to me. You know how Steam release a game whenever they feel like it.
Yeah.
They
Well,
can do more games, they just don't, because they focus on their storefront.
yeah, but they don't have the versatility of Steam. That's the
No, they
problem.
don't. They don't.
And,
But they're
and that's
kind
a
of
job.
Steam-esque, though. They're kind of Steam-esque in
But
that
it's
way.
a problem with the Japanese companies, man. That's why they're struggling right now. They can't.
Right.
They just have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
And I could see Sony actually going like being like every other company in Japan. They just go into themselves,
Right.
which could work out if you're. I think it could be good for you if you're a huge fan of, like, if you're a hardcore weeaboo Japanese
Yeah.
type person, because it looks like they might go back to just producing that kind of content and focusing on that. Like
And
how,
that's good because they can be in that niche if that's where they're strongest at. Right.
so to add to what you're saying, you're saying about that, I could see that happening, right?
Yeah.
Because we'll just, Microsoft will just inundate them with all the stuff that let's be
They're
honest,
killing them.
well,
They're killing them.
they can't afford to make these games anymore.
No,
That's the
and
big
they on the scale that Microsoft does. Think
Yeah.
about it, like a Indiana Jones scale over there. They can't do that. Not
Yeah.
often they can't. How can they compete with Microsoft?
Yeah,
They
I just don't
can't.
think they have the money, because they just don't have the money.
They don't.
That's why
And that's
they tried so hard to do the on the service, on the live service stuff, because they needed that income. They
right.
just couldn't pull it off. And it's funny to me because, like, that's the one thing about PlayStation. That's what I mean about PlayStation. They're hardcore fans.
They
They
are.
actually believed, they actually believed that they could do it. And I'm not
They
saying that
do.
they couldn't,
I
but I
know.
mean that's not in their forte. You know, it's never been a PlayStation stuff. That's why I get aggravated with PlayStation fans because they don't even know their own brand. You know, that's I mean maybe they could have pulled it off, maybe not. Um, but like at least Microsoft in some aspects they were smart enough to go get the stuff that they needed.
They
And again,
did, right.
and again they have the money to do that, which is
And
unfair.
could they have taken their time and done that? Sure, but they didn't want to, and I don't blame them. Why do that when you don't have to? You know, you can speed things up. You know,
Yeah, and Microsoft has been through. I mean, at least the Xbox has been through that, been down those roads. So I
right,
know they definitely learn. But
right,
again, their biggest superpower I would say is the money,
exactly. Yeah,
and Sony just doesn't have that. So that I know Concord hurt them bad.
it
Um,
did, man. That was a huge blow. That
that
I thought ABK would be that huge blow. It wasn't that. It was that Concord. What was that Concord game? Yeah,
yeah,
that thing was a disaster.
and then ABK, and I mean, it kind of is a bad blow for them because they giving all their money to Microsoft. It's
They
kind of
are that they're funding Microsoft.
yeah.
Microsoft is stealing their consumers' money and time with their games, and we're seeing that because people keep pre-ordering Xbox games.
Okay, wait a minute, yeah. This is making too much sense. I want to still I want to wallow in self pity a little bit more.
I
No,
told
but
you
you're right.
I was coming to dump a lot of. It's a lot in Xbox's favor that people are not paying attention to.
Oh yeah, yeah. And look, like I said earlier, I realized that because I'm old school.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I'm of that mentality. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is. If you really look at it, right, it's scary. And then I
yeah.
was listening to some other guys that were talking about it as well. You know, Turboverse did some good videos.
Okay, yeah.
When they're looking at the outlook overall, because you see the PlayStation guys, it's like, yeah, we got your game. And I'm sitting there going, yeah,
I'm like, wow. I'm
but
just
you got to
shaking my
pay for it,
head. They gotta pay for. That's another
like
thing.
full price.
You even getting games from PlayStation that's going straight into the Game Pass and stuff. Like, you done had MLB, you done had Death Stranding and stuff. That game was funded by PlayStation.
Well,
And those
I hear pushing people now pushing back with MLB because the new one's not going to go into Game Pass.
okay,
And
okay.
then I was saying there, like, yeah, that makes perfect sense, dude.
It
Major
does
League
actually.
Baseball
Yeah,
last year had its biggest audience. I don't know how long. I mean, even I was following Major League Baseball just because of the Pirates and what they were doing.
right.
And then the one of the Pirates, the pitcher, man, that dude was amazing, and he's on the cover, right?
Oh
I might
man,
actually go
yeah.
buy it too, just because he's on the cover.
Right,
You
right.
know what I'm saying? So of course, yeah, that
It
would make
makes sense, but it shouldn't have been that way. But I understand it because they was getting extra money. I
Mhm.
mean, it was helping them with their development and securing them extra money. It was a good deal for the purpose of the game. If you
Right.
looking at the game, you know what I'm saying. But we'll see how they do without Game Pass. But it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I would have rolled that dice just because the brand right now is hot.
Right, right.
Yeah, and that's me with my sports hat on. Been actually getting back into sports a little bit more, and it was huge. MLB had a really great year. Plus, you got
That's
Shohei
great. That's great.
Ohtani. Like he left, he went to LA, became the marquee player there. Got paid big bucks. It also didn't hurt him that he's like there's a scandal going on with him at the same time. And this dude's
Hmm.
like living, it's like everything rolled into one when it comes to
Yeah,
America and our sports.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and the upside for that, right? You got all the franchises and stuff like that getting more engagement. So I mean honestly, everything that sports does is about the licensing and stuff like
It
that. So
is. It is. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, bum for the guys who wanted to play it in Game Pass, but that's just the nature of the beast. So
It is, yeah. I mean, you guys had it for a while. I can't blame the place. They finally fought for something for themselves, and they saw some results. Because I wouldn't have tolerated it. Like either they put that into the PlayStation service, or you just rip it out. It's as simple
yeah,
as that.
well, it's definitely MLB making the call, right? So
Hmm.
they're the ones moving forward with
That's
this. But
fine.
a
Yeah.
bit, but just to let you guys know, it doesn't mean don't never say never. It doesn't mean that it won't end up in Game Pass later. So
Agreed. Agreed. Or even later. You never know.
I mean, Game Pass just brought back Carry On, right? And
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah, carrying. I was thinking about. I had missed that the first time, so I might try it a second time.
it's a cool game. It's a very interesting concept where you play
Is
the
it?
actual monster,
Oh,
and
cool.
I loved it so much the first time I bought it. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking about buying it before, but I didn't really know much about it, and it was gone. Like it was like right at the time it was leaving. So,
Yeah,
I don't know. I might try it because I said, "Dang, Gears back." That's cool. I like that some games come back too, because if you miss some games, you get to try them again.
yeah. If I was Microsoft, I'd do that a lot more. In fact, they could use that as a marketing tool to
Yeah,
boost their games, right? Because
yeah.
I mean, you have the people like, well, this was in there before. I said, yeah, well, now it's back, and now we have 30 games that we can't play. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Exactly.
Right.
And I want to take the time to say hello to Anthony Chipmunk,
Yeah, yeah,
one of our own. It's good to see you again.
yeah. What's up, Anthony? Cheers, bro. Um, no, yeah. So I mean, yeah. But I think of everything that I saw this week, or I think that was last week's news. That was the most fascinating thing to me. If you're following the dominoes and how they're falling,
Right. Right.
with Sony and Japan, I'm actually interested in following that. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. I'd love for you to keep us updated on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting to me, just for the simple fact that it could be they could be going the direction of Capcom and Sega in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think if you're a hardcore PlayStation fan, I don't know. It's hard to gauge what PlayStation fans are nowadays. I mean, they're
They're
definitely
they're
brand.
they're delusional, man. They're just
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen more delusional people in my life. It's like they just seem, I don't know, they seem spaced out. I don't mean to be rude, but I've seen they don't make sense, and I'm like, can you guys like analyze the situation? Even I know how to analyze the situation. I'm like, please stop just talking in fanboy talk. It makes no sense. It's not hurting Microsoft. Microsoft earning, they don't earn. They're earning extra money off of Forza Horizon 5 when it's not going to make much because we're waiting on the next Forza. It's made what it's gonna make. I admit it's some card packs I need to pick up, but I'll do that when it gets ready to go. I'll probably snatch them up at that point in
Just
time.
wait till they have those. What do they call that? Add-on sales, dude. The
Oh
things.
yeah, add-on sales. Yeah, they get that, and then I'll probably buy them then because I like to complete everything out by that time. But once the game has been out for a while, and then I figure that they're not gonna really drop anymore, then I start picking them up.
That's one thing I thought about when it came to Xbox. Right? It's because it's an ecosystem. It's just they just want that constant flow
That's true.
of money. Now, look, like anybody else, right? You want day one, you want the maximum amount. But if we can't catch you on day one, we'll catch you like
They'll
3 years
get
from now.
and the software, well, in the case of Forza, that's not true. We know Forza, it has licenses and things like that, but other
Yeah.
games, they stay there, so like they just constantly make money as time goes on. Because we was
Mhm.
talking about games coming back to Game Pass. How many times have GTA 5 been inside Game Pass? Hasn't it been like 3 times or something like that? I don't know. It seems like that thing is always there.
I mean, I guess I got stuck on how much they paid for it. I was like, dang, dude,
Yeah, it's a
that's
lot.
like a
Yeah.
that's like 20 indie studios you could have made games
I'm
with. You know what
saying,
I mean?
but I don't know what it was. I remember when they left and everybody was buying up the game and all that stuff, and then it was gone for a little bit, and then it came back. I was like, it just comes back. It's like they just keep that thing living in Game Pass. It might as well be a permanent fixture in there or something, like.
You know what's funny? Yeah, I'm laughing now because now that I'm talking to you, my mind is kind of my gears are grinding because my gears are grinding with the Forza stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy about it. Right? I'm just being honest. But
Okay.
then as I thought about it more logically, right? But then I was stopping myself. I was like, no, I'm not gonna be. No, this is like I was in my little pity party phase. But
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. The interesting thing to me is like you bring Forza Horizon 5 because I think Forza Horizon 6 should be right around the corner.
Yeah. A lot of people are speculating probably next year because
Yeah.
it's been a while since 5 dropped now. So
Well, it'd be cool. Like I'm surprised we're not getting it. I'm surprised we're not getting 6 this year.
we could,
But
but where would you put it? Like,
no, so that's what I was about to say. So you have Forza Horizon 5,
yeah.
and then you get people playing it, right, and stuff like that, and then you go to the place that everybody wants Forza to go to in the Horizon series, which is Japan. You know,
Yeah, that would draw in the ponies. They love Japan, so like yeah, that would.
plus if 5 does as well as they're thinking it's gonna do, yeah, that would be a big deal.
Hmm.
I mean, that's kind of the unknown. I don't know how it's gonna do over there.
Well,
But
they have what's that called? Gran Turismo, right? They have Gran Turismo, so obviously it's a community over there that plays racers and stuff. I know Gran Turismo is different from Horizon because
yeah,
that's an arcade racer, but still, I mean, Horizon is just fun. Like if you like to have fun, I mean. anybody would love playing in Horizon. So,
I think they'd be. I think they I mean, I think Microsoft does know that, but because with guys like me on in our like we're on the Microsoft side or the
yeah,
Xbox side, so they know there's fans like me, a
uh-huh,
little bit more hardcore.
right.
Yeah, if it goes over there, they might get some of the hardcore, but they feel they'll definitely get all the normies that are on
Oh
there.
yeah, for sure. That's
Plus, a
that's
lot of
what
people don't like
Horizon
Gran.
is for.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Even when it was popular, the only people that I knew that really played Gran Turismo were a bunch of gearheads.
Oh, okay,
Like they
okay,
actually, like my friend, he loved Gran Turismo because he had the car that he had on the game. He would play it,
okay.
and it was very sim. You know what I mean? He knew how to
Right.
make the brakes. He knew how to do all that stuff because
Oh, okay.
he worked on his own car. You know, he
You
used to
think?
do he did
Do you
drifting and
think?
all that stuff. So,
Do you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so
no,
sorry. Do you think that Microsoft should bring over Motorsport?
yeah, it's
Think they
they
should?
should. It's everything's off the table. He
Right.
already
Everything's off, guys. The band-aid is ripped. So
yeah,
like now that we're
it
living
doesn't
in
matter.
this,
Yeah,
now we look forward because we see what Microsoft is doing with all that money. They're
yeah.
doing the Ninja Gaiden 5s, and now maybe I can get my prototype reboot or something, or
Oh,
sequel.
that would be cool.
I,
Yeah, that
I'm
would be cool.
looking at games that I would like to see, and I know now that Microsoft is making the money to do it, and they're investing in that way. So I'm excited about the type of games I think we're going to get. You
Mhm.
know, so
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why he did what he did, right? Because you had
yeah,
such a great
yeah.
showcase, right? Everybody's on cloud nine. Then he's like, as soon as I saw him with Paris, but when he was on Destin show, I was like, oh,
Yeah, it was over.
I was like, oh man, well, what's coming? What's coming?
Yeah, you knew it's bad news if he's on. Well, for us anyway.
For me, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't even think for you, Dave. I mean, but
No,
for me,
I wanted him to keep some exclusives, but now that I when I told you guys that something had to go, I understand that it's a balance, and in
right,
order to meet all those different needs that he needed to address, he had to give up something,
right,
and
right.
that's what he had to give up.
Oh, that's so.
I know it's hard
It is.
though.
It's uh, it's Phil learned. Like you said, Phil learned the game.
Yes, he did. He's a
A lot
he's
of
a
time.
lot smarter than people think he is. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and it makes sense when you look at it from that perspective. But he is trying to, just to let you guys know, he has tried his very best humanly possible, I believe, to meet all the things that you guys have asked for, but he could not do it all. It's not realistic. We live in a world with cause and effect and consequences and stuff, and he knew that he had to give up exclusivity to meet all those other needs. And even the things that he was hearing behind the scenes from the developers, he saw what's happening to PlayStation. He saw that back during the time with Moon Studios and probably before that. And I think that all of these things helped him to come to a conclusion that we have to go this route.
Yeah, and then I mean him being in the position.
Right.
Um, like again, I always say this all the time. If it was me, I would have gone scorched earth.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's kind of like, dude, why do we always have to bend over backwards for?
Yeah. Sometimes you know what though? Being a good leader means you have to make sacrifices and you
Yeah,
can't always get what you want.
yeah. Well, that's not me. So that's probably why I'm on this podcast.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, what, dude? We did 2 games with you, and that's how you feel? Fine.
Yeah, and notice that he worked with Platinum too, because I think Phil, look, it's better to reconcile. This is a good Christian principle. It's better to reconcile and
There we go. You're
to
gonna
turn the
put the
enemy
whammy
into
on
a
me.
friend, like
All right. Oh,
so
fucking.
it benefited, didn't it? We got like a Ninja Gaiden 4 because Platinum worked on it, right?
Well, I found it interesting that Camilla left,
He
right?
did. He
So
did
I
leave.
wonder if that
Yeah.
had anything to do with it too.
It could have, because
Yeah.
maybe Platinum was like, it's not worth harming our, future relationship. Because who knows? Maybe they're looking to do more things with Microsoft, but Microsoft might not have been willing to work with Camilla. I think he might have been the main problem of the situation to begin with. So
Yeah, Camille is just one of those guys. I mean, he's kind of a mad genius. So I like that about him. But man, in the case of
he's
Microsoft, I
he's
really
smart. He knows how to make good games, but he's got a very difficult personality to work with, though.
no. Most people like that do. I mean, he's so that's what I mean. He has this creative side.
Right.
And but then sometimes like Cliffy B. Cliffy B is another perfect example.
Yeah, he's very good at what he does, but hard to work with, to
Yeah,
say the least. I'm being polite, but yeah.
yeah. So sometimes that's the rub, right? So
Right.
when you watch that behind the scenes, I absolutely loved it. That you can tell that there was a different tone when they were talking to the Platinum Games guys.
Yes, it was. It was different. You could tell, and this is years now. We learned that this is it was years ago that he started
Yeah,
this process. So
yeah.
he's been working all this time. We thinking, oh yeah, Microsoft can't stand him because of scale. But he had already gotten over that, and he was already working on a project with Platinum.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of a no-no in the traditional business
Yeah,
atmosphere.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's thinking outside the box.
Well, then that's the weird thing, right? Like a lot of people talk about Elon Musk. I mean, I don't agree with everything the guy does, but I
Hmm.
do like how he's forward thinking and future thinking and
Yes,
stuff
he's
like that.
always thinking about the future. Yeah, yeah.
But this dude is all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's his autism kicking in, though. I think that obsession, because he
Yeah,
does have an obsession with that, especially like when it comes to he thinks that something can wipe out the human population, so he's really obsessed with that. But
he's like ultra focused on it.
yeah, yeah, I'm like Eli. I don't think I think it has to do with his autism because he's so obsessed with these things. But
I
you
don't know,
know,
dude. Like he was talking about, okay, we want people to have more freedom when you're on X.
oh
I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I think that's cool, bro. I think that's cool.
yeah.
Oh, and by the way, we can put chips in your brain. I'm like, oh, no, slow your roll,
I know, yeah.
slow
Like
your
what?
roll there, buddy.
Yeah, chips in your brain, but you went for like, yeah, trying to rationalize Elon is like, like what the
I know.
heck?
I'm just like, what? Where did this come from?
Yeah,
Dude, just build cars, man. Just work on your cars. How about that?
right,
Fix your
right.
cars first. And then, um, it's funny though. I mean, it's people like Jim Carrey. I just watched Sonic 1 and 2.
I saw
Um,
3. I actually rented it. It came out
oh, nice.
available to rent, so I was like, yeah. I think it was on Amazon. Let me see, where was it at? I think it's on
Yeah,
Amazon.
Xbox has it for rent too. Yeah.
They do it. Yeah, they came out earlier. So I was so glad because I was late with doing that because I had so many other things. And I have watched Sonic every time it's dropped. I went to the theaters to see it. So we were going to this
Nice.
time and something came up and I couldn't go right away. And I was really sad because I love the Sonic series. And but I saw the third one. It's very good. It's very it was good. I thought it was good. Jim Carrey though, oh my God. If you think he's not really in the forefront in that third one, he really is. Yes, he
Oh,
really is.
I saw an interview with them. They said in 1 and 2 they had to kind of reel them in a little bit.
Yeah, they did because they say he was
Um,
just too all over the place. Yeah,
but
they
but
let
it's,
him. They let him loose though on the third one.
yeah, that's what the guy said. Yeah, in 3, we're like, no, because he became. I understand that they were trying to set up. That's one of the reasons I didn't want to watch the first 2 movies because just like I'm such a huge
Okay.
Sonic fan or Sonic fan. I knew I would watch it eventually, and then
Hmm.
my daughter watched it with me, and I watched the first one, and I felt bad. I was like, wow, this movie's awesome. We watched the second one right after that because I bought them. I
I
had them.
do too. I have them too. Yeah.
But I mean, I had them for a while, but I was like, I just couldn't bring myself to watch it.
Right.
And then I finally did. Then I was like, oh, dude, I wish I would have watched it that long ago.
Yeah. They're
But
great movies.
three's out. I think it's like 24.99 on Xbox. I'm gonna wait for it to go to 9.99, and it's nothing against
Yeah.
the movie. It's everything to do against digital for me.
Right. I understand that. You're right. You just you're not. Are you gonna buy it or rent it? What you gonna do? What
No,
you
I'm
gonna
gonna
do?
buy it, but I
Oh,
I
okay.
can't. I'm not comfortable paying full price without a physical, and it's not a
I
physical.
hear that, and that's why I only
It's weird to
rented
me.
it.
Yeah,
And then we wanted to see it right then and there. Now I'm gonna buy it. When it comes out physically. So.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it'll be 9.99 in a couple months. So
Yeah, that'll drop real quick. Yeah, that'll drop. It doesn't take long.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now if I was at Best Buy and they had a physical 4K UHD, I just buy it.
Yeah, I just would have picked it up. You're right, exactly. Exactly.
But I mean, I've stopped going to my Best Buy because they're weird now.
Yeah.
It's such a weird store, dude. I'm just like, I've never seen. I see some of the stuff that they're doing, and I'm like, I've never seen a store actually go backwards with some of
Yeah.
the stuff you guys are doing and some of the stock you don't have.
Yeah, that was what hurt me with them is they would not carry a lot of stuff in the store. And I'm
Yeah,
like, well, what's the point of me going here if I still have to order it?
like they're pushing us online, right?
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you go over there to do certain things, there's like, okay, well, so like the situation in Hawaii, the parking situation in Hawaii is just bad, right?
Okay.
And then they took some of the spaces and it's like, this is only for service only. This is only for quick pickup. I'm like, then this is only. I'm not gonna deal with this, dude.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, come on. This is a actual storefront. if you guys, I don't want an online experience if I took the time to drive here. So anyway, and it's close to my house, so it's not out of the way, but it's just the principle of it. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
kind of,
Yeah. Well, they better get on your good side because we don't want you all upset and stuff.
oh no, 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 I just move on. You know what it is? It's just like okay, I just bought some like more manga. I'm like,
Oh,
well, I'm
okay,
gonna buy that
manga.
for you guys,
Yeah.
but yeah, manga's on sale, so I'll buy that.
Yeah.
So I got 2 books here right now. So, and that's my saying. Like, when it comes to the stuff like this,
Mhm.
if I ever have a problem, I just step away.
Yeah, yeah, and I've done it like how you talked about comics. I used to like now I do independent comics now, but I at the time the big two, DC and Marvel. And I used to, but I don't know more because we both know how crappy they stuff became. and
Yeah,
um and then I did a little bit of um what was that other one? Gosh, I forget them now because it's been a long time since I bought their stuff. It was another smaller publisher that made comics. I got these a little bit of their stuff, but I was just so used to buying Marvel and DC. So
well,
I
that's
just
what got me. Like, I will do that all the time. So sometimes they'd have runs on in Marvel, and Marvel is, and then sometimes DC was better, sometimes Marvel would be better.
yeah, yeah, right. So you kind of switch back and forth and stuff. Yeah.
And so, but then when the indie scene started blowing up, this is back late '80s, early '90s, that I started getting more indie stuff. And so it's just like this cornucopia of content that you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
consume, outside the box stuff that it wasn't traditionally like. I mostly did superhero stuff, right, for the most part.
Right,
Had all kind of
right.
genres.
Yeah.
And then the history of comic books was like that anyway, right?
Yeah.
But so what ended up happening after the 2000s, man, it was just harder to get this stuff,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
there was these books I was reading, and I absolutely loved them. And I had a pull list, and I went to the comic book store, and they gave me my comics. And I was like, oh wait a minute, I didn't request this. And he goes, oh yeah, well the comic, this comic that you liked. I'm like, yeah, well we don't carry it anymore. I was like, oh, did it get canceled? He goes, oh no, we just don't carry it. I'm like,
Mm,
okay. And he said, but you
okay.
can read this one. This is like it. And I'm like, no, dude, I wanted to read the other one. So I ended up getting rid of my pull list. And then what I found out is that, and this is ironic because they just went out of business with Diamond Distribution,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
the comic book stores themselves, they only have so much shelf space.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
But then what they were doing is like what Disney did to Sonic 3. I don't know if you heard this. But
No.
Disney,
What they do?
so Disney basically just took up a lot of the screens.
Oh, that's right. I heard about that. So they couldn't be in as many screens as they wanted. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And so and so that's kind of what was happening with the comic book show. Because
Right.
I'm like, dude, don't tell me what I want to read. Let me read what I want to read. Right?
Right.
So after I just kind of walked away, and then the whole, they were just doing all kind of stupid stuff in the comic books, things that I don't like. I mean, I'm like again, I'm old school. So
Yeah.
every time I
Same.
read, if I participate in fantasy, I read comics. Everything I do, there's a reason why I do that kind of stuff, and I've always found comic books to be about, at its base core, good
Hmm.
versus evil.
Right. That's what I
Stuff like
love. That I like to lose myself in stories and stuff. So, but when they started bringing politics in there too heavy, I was like, okay, I'm done. I
just
want to just like not even think about my real world. I want to just get into and movies sometimes can do that, but not, it's nothing like a good book or a good comic that did that in the past for me.
yeah, and I think that's a lot of the problem with the industries in general. I mean, you see that happening right now with the gaming, right? I mean, they have to learn the hard way. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and in some aspects, right? I mean, it just got too ideological, got too political.
Yes, and that's why those games are failing because nobody wants to think about real life when you are or be preached to and all that stuff, and unless it makes sense for the game, but and it's not
Yeah,
too like like the old Metal Gear series and stuff. I don't know if you ever played any of those games. Those
yeah,
games had a lot of political ideas and stuff in there, but it was a part of the series, though. You know.
yeah. So, like for example, Call of Duty has some stuff in there in the newest one, right?
Yeah, it did. It did. Yeah,
No
yeah.
spoiler, but it doesn't bother me because I think, like when I look at the perspective they're giving, to me it's just a perspective, but it matches the story, the feel, everything.
Right,
It flows
right,
into the game. So even though they're
right.
wrong on some of their stuff politically, right? For reasons,
Mhm.
but it doesn't bother me because I'm like, you see what they're doing. It's not a politically. It informs the story. It's not the story.
Right, right.
It's it's
Yeah.
it's it's used to add stuff. So And like again, I'll bring up Squid Game too. The character that they have in there, with the whole transvestite stuff, the whole gay agenda, alphabet mafia, all that stuff, right?
Hmm.
But if you just watch the show as what it's intended to be, a story, it doesn't distract.
Right, it's not becoming the main point of something or whatever. Yeah, right. I get it. I get what you're saying. Because it's
And
how you do that. Because nobody is saying that you can never see a transgender or gay person in a story. Nobody's saying that. But it's how it's been done in the West. Where it destroys the story, and it's like for the they sacrifice the story for that, and that's what I don't like about
oh
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's a genre specific. If you want to be genre specific, go knock yourself out. Right, but what you guys are doing, you're bringing it into the just the everyday normal
Hmm.
type media, right? That you
Right.
know, especially when it comes to parents and kids, right? But
Right.
the interesting thing about one of the scenes in the show was that the guy, the dude is like it's like the guy's a great actor,
Hmm.
right? Because there's a lot of shows I watch with him. So when my interest was piqued, it was like, oh, I wonder how he's gonna pull this off. That's
Hmm.
the perspective I came from, because I know he has the acting chops to do it.
Oh, okay.
And so but he's known to play like a villainous role, and this is now he's playing a role where he's trying to garner sympathy for his character,
Oh. Oh,
right?
okay.
So because
He's
one of
breaking
so
that. He's breaking that typecast, huh? That's what you're
yeah, and
saying.
I've seen him like he's played that role before, but what he's known for, like I don't know if you've seen Glory. Uh,
Yes, I have.
so he's the guy that can't see, like he's colorblind. The main dude with
Oh, oh,
the
okay.
real nuts guy, yeah.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
see how yeah, so he's playing the transvestite um in Squid Game too.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
it's a juxtapose, right, of how he has to play that character to garner sympathy, and the other one he just can be a psycho, right? So, and the reason why, and I tell people this all the time when it comes to these, and I think gaming is gonna have to learn a hard lesson, and I hope they learned it.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to learn it because they're gonna, the studios are closing down left and right.
they are, and they're not messing around anymore now. If you're losing a lot of money, you're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they better learn it quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Hmm.
Because on the flip side, with gaming costs so much more. Um, than a lot of the movie productions are, because I think a lot of their stuff is overblown and they having to course correct.
Hmm.
But in the terms of games, man, I mean, I'm just like, dude, you have to build up all this stuff, and it's sad to see it all fall apart because you can't step outside of yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, just moving forward, I hope it's better. And again, um, to get back on topic,
Hmm.
I don't want to. I just want. Well, I want to ask everybody. But I understand it's Saturday morning. Thanks for coming. Thanks for dropping in, Dale. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me. I hope I brought something to the conversation.
Yeah, you actually bought reason. I'm gonna have to shake that reason off when I get off this podcast and go back to being salty. Maybe I'll go on X and participate with some people, and then I'll get back to being salty. No, but honestly, yeah,
Yeah.
perfectly. Yeah, great points. So then I want to get your perspective on what do you think about the Xbox brand specifically moving
I
forward?
think it's in a transition, and I can't really make a commitment as to what it's going to be, but I do believe they're still committed to their goal to be everywhere, like to be the biggest and the best. I think they're shooting high. They really don't see PlayStation as competition, as I explained to you all. How can PlayStation be competition when they're fighting for their own gamers on their own platform? They're too concerned about that to worry about anybody outside of their own
Hmm.
company. I think that Microsoft now is just I think they're juggling a lot of things because they're really heavily working with AI, which I think is going to play a big role into gaming, but not just gaming, but I think it's going to play a big role in it. Possibly the next, as a PC gamer, console hybrid gamer, it's probably going to play a big role in the next operating system, which will probably also contribute to the gaming aspect of PC gaming. So I look at it from two sides, of course. So, and that's all Microsoft, whether you're PC or Xbox.
Hmm.
And so I think that they're doing a lot of moves behind the scenes, but it's going to take us some time to see it pan out. Sort of, kind of, like how we're starting to see their vision with the industry now. And by the way, I don't think they can put that genie back in the bottle. So no matter what
Oh yeah.
PlayStation does with trying to pivot back into making those $300,000 I mean, sorry, yeah, $300,000 games where they don't know if they're going to sell them and all that stuff. That time
Oh,
is
three
over.
hundred 300 million.
I'm sorry, 300 million. Yeah,
Yeah.
300 million games. It's
Sony
I
wish it was 300,000.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they do. But yeah, 300 million. Yes, yes, yes. And I think that they're them pivoting back is where they trying to go back to where they're comfortable, and I think that they made a fundamental mistake with not really truly preparing for that shift to gas games, and I think that that's where they created a lot of error. Um, but I think, do I think they're gonna come out of this not in the way they were? I think PlayStation is gonna change. I keep telling people that they can't survive where they were. Just like, by the way, I will say this, and a lot of people don't want to hear this either. Um, Nintendo will have to change too. They can't, at some point they can be a little slower about it, but they also too, because if they just lock themselves to that platform, just the handheld, and assume that the younger generations will all continue on to get that, they're crazy, because already I'm seeing that they play on phones and all that stuff. They bypassing that. So if Nintendo doesn't also start doing, they need to learn from what's happening now. Look at how Microsoft had prepared for years before they took that first step, and look at how PlayStation tried to play catch up and burned themselves really bad. They don't want to make the same mistake, and so they have the luxury to look at and see how things are playing out. But you know, what did he say?
Chris
Oh, who is
Jones.
that? Who is Chris Jones? I don't think I
Uh,
recognize him.
I've never. He's new. So, but I'll
Oh,
read
he's
his
new.
comment
Okay, okay.
because this is something that I saw people talking about. Chris Jones says we get Ninja Theory back for free.
Ninja
Yeah,
Theory.
I agree. I think Ninja Theory will bring all their games to. That's the guys who make Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Chris Jones. I think they're def. I mean, why not? I think they're going to bring their games to. Microsoft will definitely bring those games
Oh
to.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they're third party, so they're gonna be. They just happen to also. That's why I said this is something different, because typically a third party publisher don't have a platform, but they have both. So that's where the unknown part is. How are they going to make the necessary changes when it comes to the platform? And I think what they're going to do is they're going to bridge the console with the PC, and I think that's how they're thinking to answer that. But that's the unknown, because I really don't know anything about their next console. That's the part I can't see in my head yet. You know,
Yeah,
I
there's a
can. Uh,
oh no, go ahead. Sorry, dear, go ahead.
oh no, I was just saying that I can see other things that um Xbox is doing, but that's the one area, until I know more, I can't really speak on.
Yeah, so one of the things I saw people were talking about when it came to Ninja Theory was what's the name of it? Heavenly Sword. Um,
Heavenly Sword. Okay.
and I only know about that game because my friend played it and that's like was his favorite game on the PlayStation. I think it was
Oh
three.
really? Okay.
Yeah, when he was playing that game, and so they made that game. So people were like, "Oh, it'd be great if they brought it back for a sequel." And that was on play. That was a PlayStation game. I think it was
Oh,
exclusive to PlayStation.
oh, it was exclusive. Interesting.
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute. Did PlayStation, this Sony pay for it or something?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Oh, I
But
don't know if it'll come back if it's a game that Xbox doesn't fully own. I don't know, because
you know,
they may not be able to get it for their consumers. You
no.
see,
So like, but they could work something out with Sony to
they
make.
could. Yeah,
Yeah,
they could. Yeah.
yeah. That's what I see people are excited about because a lot of people like having some.
Okay. I guess the same can happen with something like a Sunset Overdrive too, because like Xbox owns partially owns publishing rights to that or something like that. I think.
Yeah. So is Insomniac still around or they are right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I think somebody quit or something. I don't know. I can't. I
Well,
don't.
yeah, they leader. It was a head guy that left. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So maybe they'll get Overdrive. Maybe we'll finally get an Overdrive too. Sunset
Yeah, that's
Overdrive.
that's why I was thinking, like, if they do like a Sunset Overdrive too, maybe
Mm,
that could be another collab between Sony and Microsoft. See, the thing is about Sony though, they got to get out of this thing like they're in competition with Xbox. 'Cause they're not. They're not in competition with Xbox. They're not. They can't compete with anybody. So in my opinion, they're better off, and they're like a customer to Xbox. So they need to look at their and reevaluate their relationship with Xbox in a different way, because they're not what they think they are to Xbox. Xbox, if they wanted to wipe them out in the exclusivity game, they could have, but they didn't. You see what I'm saying? That we all know they could have done that, but they didn't. They chose a different path. So um
I wonder what that split is going to be.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Interesting though. This is uncharted waters.
It is. That's why I can't answer all these stuff, because some
Hmm.
things has just never been done before.
That's
So
crazy.
I
Yeah.
know some things. That's why I can't tell you exactly how Microsoft is going to look at the end of the day, because I think they're adjusting and making different adjustments based on the information they get that we don't see. And that's how I think that they felt like this was the path that they needed to go. And so I do believe they believe that, and that's why they stuck with it. They could have pivoted, but they didn't. They
Hmm.
left themselves out, because at first they were saying, well, some games will go, some games won't. I think they left themselves out, but I think once they saw how things were going and the way the market was going and all that, I think they say, yeah, we're just going to go full on. We're just going to fully commit to this.
That's why I lost my mind, yeah, because I've been hearing that all for the last couple weeks. I've been keeping up with all the politics going on,
Uh-huh.
like the hearing, confirmation hearings, and all this kind
Oh
of stuff.
man.
And it's irritating, man, because nobody. That's why I hate politicians, man. Nobody like just say something, right? Just
Yeah.
straight up, right? They talk around stuff, and then I
Yeah.
come over here, and then I see Phil, red line, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I think he did that for the people though. I honestly do. I think he
yeah.
tried to delicately like get
Oh
us
yeah, yeah,
more
yeah. Look,
accustomed to it,
it's not Phil. It's all me, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm over here 24/7 listening to what these people are saying,
Uh-huh.
and then I said, then I come over, so, oh, what's going on? And then I flip over here, but I'm still in politic mode,
Uh-oh.
so
No
that's why I lost
wonder.
my mind.
You
I
was
was
ready
like,
to bite somebody's head off there.
come on, Phil, spit it out. What is it going to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I should have done. I should have detached. Right?
Yeah,
Normally I
he
do that,
ripped it off now, so it's
nah,
all
I
going.
just went right in. But
Yeah.
Chris says, when are these changes coming? I have no my crystal ball is broken, brother. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
all askew. But do you think when do you
I
think the changes are coming?
I don't know, because I think they're still working things out. I don't think they have a full. I think it's things they know they want to do, but I don't know what they're going to settle on.
I
See,
don't
that
know,
stuff is up
but
in the air.
but then if the way I will say this, the way Phil said it, right?
Hmm.
Like he's talking as if they're already partners. Like he talked about Switch Two.
Yeah, he did talk
And,
like that. Like Nintendo is up apart. I don't think when they said they don't see they don't even see Nintendo as competition either, to be honest with you. They're not in the console thing anymore. They gave that up. So
hmm,
they don't see it from that. Now, software, yeah, they're gonna compete to the death over software. You darn right, because that's their lifeblood. But as far as the consoles, not they don't have because they exist in so many different forms. They don't need to just focus on. I think they still should focus on the console to make it healthy, make it attractive, and do all those things as they can within their abilities, right? But and I think they've chosen to do that in the sense that they want you to compare all the different ways you can play on hardware and say that this can't be beat. That's how they want to do it, right? They
hmm.
don't want you to just think about the games, because the games are just going to go wherever it needs to go. But I think that with the hardware, and they're confident in this, the way that they've talked about it, they're confident that they can make and create a fantastic console that they can go up against anybody,
Yeah,
and an ecosystem. And I believe they're going to bring that same philosophy to their handheld as well.
I mean, I'm just looking towards, and I understand, as far as the branding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how much that changes. I mean, I
Yeah,
know
it
definitely
will.
for me, I mean, personally,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying. So I'm kind of like, like I wanna, like I guess they said this on Unlimited's podcast too, and I know Other Zinc hasn't popped in, but I wonder like how Other Zinc feels about like Forza or like how Sega Man. That's why I wanted to ask him like if he was able to pop in, how he feels about Gears if it goes over, you know what I'm saying,
Right. Right.
stuff like that. Like in what kind of way? Right, for me, it's gonna be Halo, of course. Right?
Halo for me too, because and I love Gears too, and I love Forza, but Halo that's gonna be the one. I look, I'm at this point. I think this is why they did Forza first. It's the one that we can accept the most, and I think that then we already. I think Gears is gonna be next, and then they're gonna do finally. I think they're gonna do Halo. And then once they do that, people they hoping, I think by that time people can accept it,
I
understand
think
that they're changing, and but that everything else they like about Xbox will still be there.
yeah, I think people won't accept it.
I think it's some people that won't either. So
Yeah, I know I'm not. I'm one
yeah,
of those that
they're going to do Halo though. I know they're going to do it.
but for me personally, I won't accept it. So, and what I mean by that is that I mean I'm not planning to ever play on PlayStation anyway. So
Oh
that's
yeah, 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 yeah.
but I am, but, you know, right now, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Even after we talked, dude, I just feel a certain way about the brand now.
Uh-huh. I understand.
And so for me, I just, you know,
And that's their job to convince you that these changes are good for you. It's not your job to force yourself to fit into the mold that they created.
oh, definitely,
You know?
and that's what it is. I'm pretty sure they weighed that before they started doing this kind of stuff.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I don't know. I don't think they understand. So like for the console, that's why I don't think the console will never go away yet
No,
because they
it's
just
not.
have too many people.
They
They
got
have
too
too
many
many.
people still that uses the console. This they be dumb to get rid of that.
And I did mention to this one person because they were saying, well, you know, and I'm like, look, dude, it took them like a bazillion years to get rid of Xbox Live. They just got rid of it
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
because they realized how many people were subscribed to Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Right. Now more than and so the consoles are around and kind of got that stuff going for it too. Because with the console market, right? Um, oh, dude, Zink
There's
said
zinc. There's zinc.
console isn't going anywhere. Yeah, I don't think it is either, Zink.
No, that's what we just said. We don't believe it's going anywhere. Yeah.
But Zink, what do you think about? How do you feel about Forza going to PlayStation? Does that bother you at all? Zink says, "What's up, Tool Man?"
He's gonna greet the chat. You know him. He's a
Yeah,
chat man, you know.
yeah, but yeah, Zink, if you, I mean, does it bother you that Forza is going? Like, not bother you, but I mean, what do you? Again, it's going to be weird for me seeing Halo on a PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
Right? And then you got to deal with all the pricks that's going to spawn.
They're gonna get destroyed in Halo. Halo is a game of skill. There ain't no way they're gonna go in there and act like it's Call of Duty or something like that. They're gonna get destroyed if they go inside Halo and try to do that.
Yeah.
They won't last long. I think they'll have their little fun and then they'll just leave. And you know, eventually people will get used to this just like they did the PC thing. I think people at some point people will forget about that and then they'll be looking forward to whatever game is coming out and all that. So I
Right.
think they won't care anymore at that point.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It will take, it's gonna take some time because even, you know, I know how I felt and I still have that in me because I'm still old school, like you said. But I just stepped back and looked at, okay, now that I know this is what they're doing, there's no more guessing, there's no more going off of ambiguous words and all that stuff. So now let me see why they're doing it, because they're not a suicidal company. They ain't trying to destroy themselves and lose all the people that they do have. That's not what they're trying to do. So I had to step outside myself and figure out what are they doing.
Oh no,
And
yeah. It's like for me, yeah, it's done. I'm done. I'm done. And so what I did, I don't know if I did a video yesterday, and I actually showed him. I had to go. I had to go. I apologized to Tim Dog. You know.
oh, you did? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. I told him, hey, bro, you were right. You know, I said, hey, I apologize. You were right, and he was cool about it. You know.
Hmm.
Um,
Now I always thought they were gonna, up until a certain point, I kind of knew they were going to place things everywhere, but I couldn't say it for certain because the you know, anytime Phil responded, it was all over the place. So, but I never thought that after a while, even though I know you guys talk that way, I never thought that those games were saved. I just didn't. But I didn't have any way to back it up, so I didn't talk about it.
well, but that's what I mean, right? Because and I do believe that because that's the way I think, and so
Hmm.
that's another thing I mean about I'm done. Like it doesn't matter to me anymore,
Right, right.
right? You guys are gonna do whatever you guys want to do, and fine. So for
And
me, I look at you guys now, and I'm like, all right, dude.
right, and it's Microsoft's job to convince you that what they're offering you is of value, that it meets the needs of your gaming habits and stuff. It's their job to do that. Now that they've changed the game, they have to sell that to you because like I said, it's not anybody in the chat, not anybody in the Xbox ecosystem. Nobody owes Microsoft anything.
Yeah,
Okay, so just keep that in mind. We're not saying that you have to fit into this mold just because Xbox is doing it. You got to reevaluate now. What am I looking at in my gaming experiences? Now that game is changing for everybody. Do not think that it's not changing for PlayStation, because it is. And they're slower at it because they can, heck, they don't even have studios that can even port on a regular basis games over to PC. So I mean, they're so far behind. But with that being said, just ask yourselves, each of you, what am I looking for in my gaming experience, and does Xbox meet that need? And even think about where gaming is going. Who do you think can give you what you're looking for the best out of all three of the systems if you're console only? That's what you have to look at, right? And for me, I've already answered that. I like the flexibility between PC and console. I like the Xbox ecosystem. I like the hardware. So far, I love the X. I love the X. I think that's a great console. So I've loved it. I've just enjoyed my experience on it. I like Game Pass. I like Play Anywhere. I have bought more games with Play Anywhere than anything, because I like the fact that if I have to play on PC, I can still one purchase, two games. That's how I look at it. And so it's a lot that they offer that I'm saying, okay, I'm staying. You
Yeah, yeah,
know,
you gotta look at it.
so that's what I'm saying to you. And I know it's gonna be different for a person who don't play elsewhere, right? So I'm saying that to everybody. You have to ask yourself that. But I think, the fact that Xbox is trying to give you guys what you want, that they're going to make new IP, for instance, maybe IP that you think they might do, stuff like that is so much that you're potentially going to get on Xbox that I think they can easily do, because they have the money coming in, they have the means. I just say, ask yourself, does Microsoft will they be able to meet that need? Some things they won't right away, because they're still working things out, right? They still figuring out how they're going to settle. But for what they have right now, do they meet your needs? There's no console war. However, you have software, and that's the whole thing. It's about the ecosystem, and this is the ecosystem.
Yeah, Zink says, I'm with Hebot, E-Rock. I want Sony to go away forever. However, it's an enormous business move that's bigger than gaming to
It
avoid.
is. It's huge. It's different. It's changing the whole industry,
Yeah,
and they're
they're,
leading the way in it. So,
yeah, they're definitely moving forward. Yeah, good point, Zink.
yeah.
Zink says, don't apologize to Tim Dog. He's a piece of shit for many reasons. Predictions is one thing, yet Tim Dog vulgarity towards Phil Spencer weren't warranted. I mean,
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he took things too far.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that I agree with that, and he was definitely in his feelings. It was for me, Zing. It was for me, man, because I went back and forth with him on it, and he was right. So that's why I did it.
Yeah, it was
For me,
personal. Yeah.
yeah, it was a personal thing.
Mhm.
Because I mean, I knew Tim Dog for a while,
Oh, okay,
from
okay.
back in the day, from the BGST days.
What I didn't like about Tim Dog, I can understand his feelings. I always said that. I can understand he didn't like the direction and he felt like it wasn't for him. I can understand all of that. What I didn't understand from him is acting like and pretending like he liked the PlayStation. Because if he liked the PlayStation, he would have been gaming on a PlayStation. He all of a sudden liked PlayStation. He hops on the PlayStation bandwagon. Now he's PSN Tim Dog. And then I thought that was so phony and not authentic, because he was upset at Microsoft. That's the biggest issue I had with him.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
it wasn't the other stuff, it was that.
yeah. But we can all agree he's not as bad as Crap Gamer.
Oh no. Crap is so bad, man. I don't even know what
Crap is
he
a
is
whole other
anymore.
level.
He's morphed into something that doesn't even look like he's recognizable. I don't know what he is anymore.
So man, Shoni ain't shite. And others think. Oh, Zing says, "What's up, Anthony?" And the Zing says, 2man55. LOL facts. I understand. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was more of a personal thing, if I'm being honest. Just between me and him. But
There is no crash, Chris Jones. Your precious PlayStation is being bled from within.
oh, which
You
where
guys are you guys are pre-ordering Xbox games, taking that money out of Sony soft hands. They could use that money more than Xbox can. Yet you guys are lapping it up. You're buying Ninja Gaiden. You're buying, uh, you know, Forza Horizon, whatever other games that they bring. You're gonna buy Indiana Jones. That's still coming. You're going to get all of that, and that you only have so much money per gamer. I've said this before. A gamer is not infinitely rich. You only got so much time to play a game, and you only got so much money. So you guys are busy pre-ordering Xbox games while they're up there asking you to play remasters and remakes so they can have money to make another game. So you tell me who was smart. Xbox is going to still be here. PlayStation, I don't know what's going to happen with them. They won't look the way they do today.
Oh, Chris is. I see what
But
he's.
do you rent your movies, Chris?
Yeah. Do you have Netflix?
Yeah, because I actually do buy movies. I buy games and movies.
Chris
See,
Jones is
see,
Tim
he's
Dog.
just going through. He's going. See, I don't like these uneducated gamers. I don't like these. We regurgitate. We throw up this stuff that we heard from other people. I like smart gamers. And I'm sorry, but your comments are dumb. They make no sense.
Yeah, he's trolling now.
You
Tim
know, they
Dog
don't
is smart. He
they don't
jumped
make
ship
no
before
sense.
the. Other thing. I mean, look. I'll be honest with you, Chris. I mean, with my feelings aside about everything going on, again, I just have to reiterate to you all that Microsoft is a $3 trillion company. They just.
And then what did Tim Dog actually jump into? He jumped into a platform that don't have no games. What is
Yeah.
he playing? I mean, you tell me, what is he playing? Remakes and remasters? I don't know how you guys are even. I don't know how you guys are surviving over there because I don't know what you're playing. I
Oh,
don't have. I mean, you tell me.
I
Who
can tell
here?
you. Yeah, I can
What
tell
are
you.
they playing? What are they playing? Tell me.
No, so this is how I've always felt, and look, this ain't a slight on anybody like Chris. This ain't a slight. I'm just being honest. Because my friends did this, dude. I am a gamer. I'm a hardcore gamer. So I owned all the consoles. I played as many because you had to, because there's games that you would want to play that was
Back
not on
then
the
in the
console.
day, I did the same thing. Yep.
Yeah. So everybody was. That's how we were, and then it shifted, right? But I noticed this from my friends, man. Everybody I knew that had a PlayStation, they had a PlayStation because they liked Final Fantasy. Okay, a game like Final Fantasy, or they like the JRPGs and stuff like that. Now, if you go back in time and remember how long it took them to put these games out, and they would absolutely wait. And to me, that's the thing with the Sony, and that's what's biting Sony as a company in the ass right now, right? Because their gamers for years, right, would wait on these games
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the games that they play, right, they're usually the story driven, they're
Right.
usually the JRPG stuff like that,
Right. Right.
and we can attest to this now, both me and Dea, because as an Xbox person now, we have all of that now on our console, and you
Yes.
just don't have the time to play at
You
all.
don't have time to play them all. I mean, I'm passing up games and stuff at this point.
Like if you're transitioning from the late '90s to the early 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
these games would take a time, so then you'd have time to finish the game,
Right.
and then by the time you finish it, another game will come along that you could play.
Yeah.
And that is the thought process and the buying habits of every Sony PlayStation person I knew. Right. That's why it used to blow my mind when Sony guys would come up and say, "Oh, we got these AAA bangers, we got these bangers and stuff like that," and I'm like, "Yeah, but that's not how you guys consume video games. Not everybody, but most people that I know that own
Right.
Sony." So this is why like the third party stuff worked for Sony as a company because they could fill
Right.
in the gaps when Sony became like when a lot of the COD people went over or when the normies started going, oh yeah,
Right.
because this is the brand. Sony's associated with the gaming brand.
Right.
So you have your Maddens and you have your CODs and then you
Mm-hmm.
have that one game that everybody goes gravitates to.
Mm-hmm.
And so to Dea's point though, she makes perfectly she's right. Her point is perfectly right, right? Microsoft has basically said, here's everything and you get to pick. And the reason why it works is because, or Xbox does that, and the reason why that can work is Microsoft has $3 trillion.
Exactly.
Their stock took a hit, and they're still in the trillions.
I know. I know.
So I mean, to Dea's point, everything she's saying is absolutely right. My problem is I'm old and I wanna have a pity party. That's the whole thing. That's it's not it's me. It's me. It's me.
Oh man, you got the wrong person on here. We should have had
No,
who
yeah, I
had
have the right
Zeke.
person on here
Zeke should probably
because
be.
no, Zink is another one. Zink will probably say, "Look, Sega, just shut up and play a game." Zink will be another one to tell me. This is why I hang out with the people I hang out. You can't hang out with people
Right.
that are like you all the time because
Right, that's true. Yeah.
then you can't get nothing done. So, but look, I'm just saying, Chris. That's how I've always known from with my experience, the most hardcore Sony fans that I know because I was friends with them, right? But we were just gamers back then. That's how they would
Right.
consume their
And
gaming.
I wish we could get back to that. Like what Chris should have did is said, man, I've never played some of these Xbox games before. If somebody in here would be willing to play with me, I'd love to see what we can do in Forza, or maybe some other game. I don't know. I know Indiana Jones is like a single player game, but that's what I would like to see from the PlayStation gamers,
Mhm.
because quite honestly, it really, you guys don't have nothing over there. So I think that it'd be a great opportunity, for the gamers to actually just play, like, because
Mhm.
I'm just saying now. I don't know who's still complaining about. I mean, I guess it was a few holdouts out there that now that Phil has pulled the band-aid off, and that and they understand what Xbox has to do to survive the changing of the market. They're going to be good. Just stay put if you're happy on Microsoft, and just play your games. And the good thing is, you don't have to pay for them like other places do. You pay one little fee and you get access to all these games. We ain't even talking about third parties. We're not even talking about partnerships. People don't talk about like Towerborn and other games that they make with
Oh
other
yeah, that's
people,
coming too. Yeah, I forgot about
So
that.
yeah, Contraband, we still haven't talked about. It's a lot of games coming, all right? And
Yeah.
Microsoft is leading the way, and they're still doing AAA. They're still doing single games. They're still doing all of that. That's reality. That's the facts. Not talking points. These are facts.
Yeah, Chris, to your point, you said absolutely we're gamers. We don't rent, we buy games, but that's the problem. Guys like us that buy games, we're disappearing.
Yeah.
I know that. I still do that to that day. To this day, I'll play a game in an ID at Xbox or AAA, whatever game I like, and I play it, and I'm like, dude, I'm buying this game.
Yeah. If
Or
I
even
if
before the
I
games come out, I buy it,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah, because I know what I like. Right. I
yeah,
do the same thing. Yeah.
but the problem I think, well, this is the problem I see with it is that that's we're disappearing, bro. We're disappearing.
Yeah.
We're like like I'm a Steeler fan, bro, but I'm an old Steeler fan, and I irritate all the new Steeler fans, because I'm like, where's our defense? Where's our offensive line? Why aren't we running the ball? And everybody, man, nobody want to watch that old man.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see somebody put up 5 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's that's what I was saying earlier in the podcast, right? It's a changing of the guard. Um,
It is. And I just think I would like for the gamers, like, I hope Chris Jones learned something from it. He said, I'm gonna play Intergalactic and Wolverine. See, you playing with first off, every game that PlayStation releases is not a game you're gonna like. I know every single game that Microsoft released, that doesn't mean I play them. Right. So you gotta sit there and hope that what they release is something that you like. I know every gamer has preferences. But number two, if you play, hopefully Intergalactic is good, and it's going to be a good game. And Wolverine, I'm starting to doubt if Wolverine is going to just be exclusive forever on PlayStation. I'm wondering about that, because I think Disney is seeing that too, with a lot of these other big publishers, about the fact that, let's face it, on the PlayStation and just anyway, they don't want to lock their game to no one platform anymore, and everybody is seeing that. So all I can say is, Chris, they can't rely on that much longer, and the smart publishers and developers are not going to continue to do that practice.
yeah, I think Disney's not gonna
I don't think
Disney
so either,
Disney's not
because
gonna.
if
Yeah.
Disney made Microsoft do that, I can't imagine why. Because again, it's hard evidence showing that the PlayStation side, that the people are just not buying the games. They're not. It's not a lot of, for all the consoles they supposed to have out there. They're not buying the game. So I don't know if they want to run that risk. I know I wouldn't, as a publisher. I mean, how much money you putting into that stuff, and you putting towards that game, and I wouldn't want to do it. But that's just me.
No, I definitely don't think they're gonna do it. Disney be charging like $15 for the hamburgers.
I can see it being a timed exclusive like Indie was, but if Wolverine stays on PlayStation forever, I don't know about that. I just it diminishes their brand, because everybody knows these characters. Right now, you're going to turn Wolverine into the next Spider-Man. It's just, I don't know. It's not good.
What was the joke I heard there? Like people were saying, "Oh, just wait for it to come on PC, then I'll play it on my Xbox through Steam or something like that." I saw some people saying that.
Oh, wait a minute, say that again.
Like they were saying, like, "Oh, just wait for the Steam app, and then I'll play my PlayStation. I'll play the PlayStation games on Xbox through Steam."
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Like they're doing an app or something, right? Or something like
yeah.
that. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't keep up." Oh, so where am I? Let me catch this. We'll catch up with the chat real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, Zink said the facts the Xbox division are not profiting 150% on Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. They make a lot of
It's
money.
crazy how much money, and that's one game. We ain't even talking about like the Overwatches and the Diablos and the
Well,
Candy Crushes and all that. We ain't even talking about those.
I'll put it to you this way. So they did a Squid Game 2 crossover, and that
Mm-hmm.
was nuts, man. The amount of people that paid money. I was one of them.
Wow, you drop money?
Oh yeah, I love Squid Game, and it was excellent. Like the so like there was this one stage that you're playing, right? So in Squid Game they have the that doll character that
Mm-hmm.
turns around, right? It's like it starts singing and then you run, and then when her and then she does a stop, and then you're supposed to stop, and then the head spins, right, to see who is moving, and then you get shot. They actually did that in the game. There are a couple modes with that
Okay.
called red light, green light,
Uh-huh.
right? So what would happen is, and it was multiple. Like I was playing in the multiplayer, and I didn't know what it was. Then I heard her singing. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool to have her singing. And then the song stopped, and I guess I did. I kept on running, and then I got shot.
Wow.
Not by the opposing team, but I got shot because I was running. Because I was
Wow.
supposed to stop, like in the
That
like
sounds fun.
yeah. So I was like, oh. And then on
Yeah.
the zombie one I was playing, and then what happens is when she stops singing, you have to stop, but the zombies keep on coming at you.
Oh wow, that's scary. Oh wow.
Well, it sucks too because I mean the game's already hard on zombie mode, so I was like, okay, I don't like that mode. But what they did, my point being is they integrated all these things into that
Yeah.
scene, and
Yeah,
you
they
can tell there's not a
integrated
lot of
everything in
thought.
there. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really well thought out expansion.
Yeah, I mean it was amazing. Like so, it was fun to play all the different modes. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like me, I'm a huge fan, so I bought mostly all the skins, not every single like the other like the I forgot the name of the one, but I didn't find that nice. And but then most of the other stuff I bought. And the point I'm making is that when I see them make all that money, like when they talked about the profits they made on that stuff, I can see why because everybody was running around
Right.
with the skins, right? Like everybody looked like the players in the game. I
Right.
bought the one with the doll, the character, the girl character that was that the red light green light character. I
Mm-hmm.
bought that, and then one guy was like, "Oh, that's really smart." As to what he said to me, he's like, "Oh, that's smart, Sega. You might as well just point what he said, paint a bullseye on your chest."
Oh, bullseye.
Then I responded to him, I was like, "Dude, I suck anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna have dude, it's like I'll die like 30 times. Who cares if it's an additional 40 times? You know, I'm like, I don't care."
That's awesome. I like when games do stuff like that, have collaborations and stuff, and really think them through like that. I like that.
But
Makes
even
it
in
fun.
something like COD, like that microsystem has changed because of the introduction of all this kind of stuff.
Right.
So
Right.
either you like it and move on, or either you like it and stick around, or you don't like it and move on.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't believe me, just go on X and see all the discussions about COD.
That's awesome. And think about it. Kai is not locked to Xbox, but yet everybody enjoying themselves. They all talking about the game. They're talking about the DLC and stuff. So, it's not the end of the world.
I mean, there's some stuff they definitely need to work on. I don't know how they're going to fix it.
Hmm.
Maybe through AI. Maybe that's why they're pushing so hard for AI.
I think so. I think that is going to get integrated into gaming a lot more. That's
Yeah.
my opinion. But
Uh,
maybe Zink can fill me in because he keeps up with Microsoft stuff more better than I do.
I mean, there's some things I would love to see with it. I'm pretty optimistic about it. I know there's definitely bad stuff that could happen, but for me, the positive, especially for somebody like me who like to play certain games, if they
Hmm.
can get the AI to the point, because I was using Chat GPT, it was pretty cool. I was like, all right, I see what they're doing here, right? And
I don't
so
even
like, if
try to
I,
use Chat GDP, but it kicks in when you want to or when you don't. And I got an interesting story about some AI when I was using Microsoft's search engine.
yeah,
One time me and my friend, I asked him for some help because I had some problem with my PC. And I
right,
said, man, I can't figure this thing out. So I usually go to him, right? He couldn't figure it out. So he said, well, I said, let me try to type in some things. And he was doing his on his end. And I couldn't quite word it the way I wanted to, right? And so all of a sudden something popped up. And then when I put in something else in the search engine, and then I found exactly the solution to my problem. But it's because the AI found it for me.
right, yeah,
It's like it found the solution, but I
hmm
was trying to figure out like what was going on, but the AI figured it all out and then took me exactly to where I needed to go.
yeah.
That's a true story.
Mhm. That's why a lot of the universities, even workplaces, right, they be cognizant of the fact how people use the AI.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, like I would love to see like a game like Redfall,
Oh
having
yeah,
AI
yeah.
in it so
I
that I
think
could
they
play with
shouldn't
the
give up
AI.
on Redfall because Redfall is a fun game. It's fun, you know.
Well, if they implement AI, they don't have to go through the trouble of making a drop in and out game. You could just play with the
Hmm.
AI characters.
Right, with the AI characters. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Like if the AI gets to that level.
yeah, yeah.
Now,
Well, I don't know. It could. Yeah, it could. I don't
yeah,
know.
I think that's definitely within the realm of possibility, especially after dealing with the chat. The chat is actually pretty, you know, it's better. It's not just the responsiveness of it, but like the the back and forth seems
Right,
natural.
right.
I mean, so I saw, but I did see a video where this influencer had a robot and they were picking on it, and the robot left.
What?
The robot tried to leave, yeah,
He
because
said,
they kept on
"Forget
picking on it, pushing in, trying to
it."
tip him over and stuff like that. So the robot didn't like it and he left. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's probably why they'll kill us all. But until then, I would love to play. I would love to see how it goes, how it is implemented in my gaming.
Me too.
So you guys should be saying the same thing if God of War hit Xbox. Chris, I'll be honest with you, I haven't liked God of War since 3.
Yeah, I hear that from a lot of people.
So if I wanted to play God of War, I actually buy a PlayStation. So that tells you that.
I got PC. If I wanted to play it, I would play it. I just haven't. So not everybody falls faints over them games. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah,
And I've had PlayStations and I still didn't play the game. So everybody is not enamored by all those games. Some games might get to them. Some might. That's why I said people's tastes are different.
yeah. Says I'm playing Double Exposure and Call of Duty S&D. Oh, okay, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, a lot of people. Man, COD is like. I mean, I know there's people that have legitimate concerns for COD, but man, it's just so huge.
Yeah, and I think they'll work through those things. They do so much in those games, you know. It's like similar to Halo. Sometimes people be wanting answers to every little thing, and I'm like, they doing a lot, they juggling a lot. So just keep talking with them and stuff, and they'll probably implement different things or try different things to solve problems.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of being underneath Microsoft. They have more time to be creative,
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
and to implement some of the stuff they want because the money's there to do it. And I'm pretty sure, like you have to come up with a plan and introduce it. But from everything I've seen so far
Hmm.
with COD, I mean, all the cheating aside, I don't know how they would fix that. To be honest with you.
I don't know. I wish people would stop that, but you always gonna have these people just
No,
inherently cheaters. They want to just have their name plastered on something. I get sick of that too. But
I know one of the things they're gonna allow people like. So I was surprised they're gonna do this. They're gonna allow you to like if you don't want to play with PC people,
Mhm.
you don't have
Oh
to.
yeah, you can block it because it be vice versa too. Because like every time, like I play, I still play World War Z because I'm trying to get to the level of the pros. And I
Yeah,
don't know if I'm ever gonna get to that level because I don't put enough time into it. Um, but yeah, I think that's the game. I think that's one you can with that game you can set it to where crossplay is off and you only play with the PC gamer because sometimes when I load in with now I play with everybody, I don't care, but I know sometimes when we be loading in with the console game, it takes forever. It's like it's so much slower to
yeah,
load into a game. I'm like, why is it so slow? And I guess I don't know what they're playing, or they can be on the Xbox One, they can be on the PlayStation 4. I don't know, right? So it be slow, and it be like, oh my gosh, we waiting forever, and then we finally get to a game. I be like, geez, why is it so slow? But whenever I'm playing with just a PC game where you just hop right into the game, it's so much faster. So what I wish that hardware was even all the way around. Obviously, it's not even like that for PC, but that sometimes people can't stand that and they get tired of the waiting and things like that. So they be like, yeah, I just let's just put it on PC so we don't have to deal with that. So I've had people tell me that, say, okay, I'm changing it.
yeah. I know for me personally when I play on it, right? Like
Yeah.
you know, one of the things they're saying. I mean, even the console, like there's stuff you can pick up to make your shooting. What do you call that? The quick
Aim
aim,
aim assist?
aim assist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even for the controller now. So there's no way to
Is
go
it?
around
Oh
it. Oh
wow.
yeah, that's how. I mean, that's how much it's integrated into actually playing online games.
Yeah, yeah.
And then of course you see these people getting busted all the time because they forget that they're showing
Right.
what they're doing, and then they get in trouble. And I'm like, dude, I mean, it's a cultural thing at this point, right? Societal thing.
Yeah, it is. That's what the real problem is
Yeah,
because like,
yeah,
trust me, I understand why console gamers don't want to mess around with PC gamers because they scared of the cheaters. Even though they're a smaller percentage of them, it doesn't matter who wants to run the risk of that. You just want to have fun. So I get it. I understand it.
what's offending me is how bad the cheaters are. Like,
They're
well, I'll
that's
say it
all
this way.
they do.
Because I mean, they don't either. Like, it's so commonplace now. Like, they don't even hide it. Like,
Right.
I can tell right away. Like, I'm playing sometimes. I'm like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like it's one thing. Like, if somebody has like I've done that. Like, I've been playing one time, and if
Mhm.
something tells me, "Ooh, I better turn around," because you because some of it's instinctual. Like, if we're in a certain part of the map and we're taking
Mhm.
down their crew, and
Mhm.
then instead of they keep on falling one way, and then just a couple start falling one way, naturally you're gonna think, well, maybe they're gonna try and flank us. So you go check, right?
Right. Right.
You turn to the right, your left, or look behind, and then also you take into consideration the spawning. But some of this stuff is just blatant. You know what I mean?
It's bad. I'm not. I know it's unfortunate because it's a small percentage of the gamer, big enough to where it makes a difference, obviously, but it's a small enough. When you talk about all PC gamers, obviously it's not the majority, but it doesn't matter because like that's why a lot of times the friends that I hang out with, they get their own servers and things like that in order
Hmm.
to avoid that. But not everybody can do that. So I really wish it was a way to deal with those cheaters. I don't know why people do it because how are you having fun like that? I
Yeah,
don't
well,
get it.
I mean, and sometimes it's the way it's set up, right? Like if you want to level up fast,
Yeah, and
you want to
they
unlock
don't.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have the time. Yeah, and look, I'm not against a mod helping things, but it has to be single player. You can't do that with multiplayer. You know.
It just irritates me because I mean in competitive mode definitely understand. I mean I don't agree with it.
Right.
Like Warzone, like a lot of people saying it's
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
unplayable.
You don't want that at all in there.
Yeah,
So
I Warzone I never really honestly. I mean I don't have a problem with playing. I never really cared for. It's not my go-to. So I just basically play zombies, right? So like, you can't not much you can do with zombies. But
hmm
then when you play in the multiplayer, right, and that's more on the casual level, like
yeah,
it's starting to bleed into that, and that's why people are saying, look, Activision, you guys got to do something, right? Because it's
they
people are
do.
gonna stop
They
playing.
do. Yeah, and trust me, it's even a challenge with Steam. They be getting that now. Sometimes they be so brutal with their banning though. Sometimes they get innocent people caught up in that.
Oh no, that's the problem, right? That's why there's not
Yeah.
one one size fits all. There's gonna be friendly fire.
Yeah, because I know people who lost their entire accounts and stuff because they were just in a game. They didn't even cheat, but they was just in a game where somebody was doing it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, like to lose everything you have because of that, and that can happen to anybody. So
Well, plus you also got to factor in. I know they're using AI in this stuff as well
yeah, yeah,
because the battle. That's another thing, right? Because you have battle passes and
yeah.
stuff like that. I experienced that with Halo when I was playing it that one time because it
hmm
was just so blatant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in order for me to complete the battle pass that I paid for, and look, I was fine. Look, dude, if I'm not gonna if I'm not gonna complete it, it's fine. That's on me, right? But I mean, so the objective was to blow up a scorpion 3 times in a row with a missile launcher,
hmm
right? And I had like I think I was like within an hour of completing it, and so I was in this one stage. I had never seen one of these things drop before in my life, and in my game, it kept on dropping.
Oh, okay.
And the missile launcher is not something that you get all the time, and then I
Yeah.
would get it multiple times.
Interesting.
So I mean, it is what it is. I'm like, okay, well, you guys are trying to figure that out,
Right, right.
And the same thing. And COD does it. COD does it better than most, though. But
Yeah.
I pick up on it every once in a while. I'm like, okay. So it's like sometimes when I'm running and I spawn and I die, and then I'm running and they put the guy right there with the shotgun, I die. I'm like, oh, I
hmm
guess that guy needed to finish his dailies. That's the way I think about it. That's why I don't take it seriously when I play.
Yeah.
And I think that's what irritates a certain segment of the COD people because people do want it to be. They don't like that stuff. So
I agree. I can understand. Yeah.
that's why people ask me, it's like, oh, how do you do this? I'm like, dude, if it bothers me, I just drop out of the game. Well, what if they ban you? He's like, I don't care. I go play something else.
hmm
I'll go play Warhammer.
Yeah,
How long
right.
you get banned me for? Two
It's
days?
always game. And everybody got them games that you just repeatedly go back to because those games are
Mhm.
just like you just have fun in them games. And may I address Zinc for something real quick?
Yeah,
I
sure.
want
Yeah,
Hey
yeah.
Zinc, are you playing Sniper Elite? I was just curious. Just type in there if you playing Sniper Elite. I'm just I'm curious if he's playing that.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I kind of lost the chat.
Okay, what's he saying? Chris Jones. That's great. I'll play it when it hits PlayStation Plus, like Forza. PlayStation Plus. I don't think Forza going on that because I don't think Sony's gonna pay for Forza to be in PlayStation Plus because they got pay extra for that.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do that.
Plus, it would make sense for their customers, and Sony don't do that stuff.
They're already competing with their customers. In PlayStation Plus, it would be they can just play it. So like, no, I don't see that. They already competing. Microsoft is dumping so many. It's like a truckload of games just getting dumped over there. I don't think they're gonna have to compete against that with their own customers. I don't think they want to do that.
With Sony, like they pull their own games out of their own servers, so I mean, why
Yeah,
would
they do. They remove their own
I mean,
games
yeah.
out of there. Yeah, so I don't see it.
It's like when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, dude, that's Jack, dude." Jack, dude.
He said that Gran Turismo 7 isn't even on. Yeah, I'm shocked by that, but yeah, they trying to make money off of them. They're not trying to give you value.
Is this one? Zing said.
Gran Turismo 7 is 3 years old. Yes. Forza Horizon is a quadruple A 4 year old. It is a good game though. Chris, if you play it, you're gonna see. 43 plus million players and will be 70. It is gonna be 70. I know that Sega Forever doesn't agree with you on that, Zink. He thinks it's gonna be, what do you think it's gonna be again?
Oh, like 49.
40. He thinks it's gonna be
Maybe
around
okay, maybe 59, 49,
$50.
39 around there. I don't think they're gonna charge the full 70 for it. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sony's doing that. I mean, they ain't giving no discounts over there on PC when they drop them games. Like, dang, Sony. I was seeing Spider-Man dropping all this, like, geez. Like
Yeah, I think it's something like I think that's something that Xbox looks at. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
I
And
can't see.
they know what they have. Just like Forza could demand that. It's a big game, and it just it's a high quality game. I can see them asking for that, but at least coming down $10, like around the old game price of 60 or something like that. I can see them doing that, right?
Like it's like this would be typical of Microsoft. Like they'll drop it. Like when it comes out, they'll be like, "Hey man, $39.99,"
Mm-hmm.
and then the Xbox guys will complain, and
Yeah,
then they'll put it on. There'll be a special sale that week.
yeah,
Special Forza sale. Buy it for like
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
$9.99 with the add-ons half percent off. They're always doing stuff.
Square Enix did that. I bought Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC, and they marked that down a lot leading up to the launch. And I think
Oh
after
yeah,
that, the price
yeah,
goes back to normal. But man, I took advantage of that because I already have the first one on PC, so I figured out. And
yeah. That's.
I
I mean,
plan to
that's.
double dip on that when that comes out on Xbox. Eventually, I'm gonna have it there too. So
But that's what I mean about Xbox. Like it's so because I hear some people in the comments be like, "Oh man, how do they make you money if they're selling it for that cheap?" They just want you to buy, dude.
they want you to get in there, right? Because they got another game coming and all. They know you're going to invest. Once you invest in a portion of a game, you're not going to stop there unless you just don't like the game.
Yeah.
Like
And,
take Forza. You think people are not going to buy those car packs and those like Lego tracks and all that? They're going to
yeah.
buy that stuff.
Plus, you gotta figure that you're not the only one buying it. It's about volume sale. At that point.
Right.
Because like that's why I said like they'll bring this back 2 years from now. It's like, hey,
Yeah, they will. Sure. Yeah. Now Forza has a limited life, though. We know that, though.
Yeah. I mean, but like it amazes me like Microsoft and their ecosystem is absolute genius when I look at
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Their ecosystem is just
It's good.
because it's a constant. It's just like having somebody go to a food court and you're just buying stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Well, how many times did you go to food court this week? Oh, 4 times. And you're not the only one that went that week. There's other people doing the same thing you're doing.
Yep.
That's what they're looking at, which is absolutely genius to me. Hey, what's up, David? Man, welcome.
Hi,
Brother.
David.
Phil Spencer would never kill Xbox with the decision to go multiplayer. Are you sure about that, David? Are you sure?
No,
That's true.
he won't do that. I explained earlier in the podcast why that's the case. If you want to backtrack after this podcast is over, you can hear what I said about it and how I broke it down.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to hear it, David, but I had to.
I forced her. I was like, I
Yeah,
better be a good mom to Sega family. I better bring the bring the facts here. Uh, I just don't want you feeling down about it. I was like, I gotta bring his spirits back up, you know.
no, I'm just like that kid, like
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Throw the toy over there. Like,
Yeah. Oh, no, I would never. I would have got my ass beat.
yeah, you ain't kidding. Our day, shoot. You got your own switch and then you bring it back so you can get whooped. Like
I
I used
remember
to
my.
cry while I was doing it, like trying to get the weakest one.
Did you walk into the room and I remember I walk into my room, or I walk into the living room. My dad be like, "What?" I was like, "What? What? He's just waiting. He's just waiting for me to mess up."
Oh, shoot.
The numbers are GT7 is destroying Forza. Really?
Destroying them. So they got what, 43 million players? I don't know what GT does. I don't concern myself with games I have no access to.
Does GT even have that type of online component?
I don't know. I ain't heard nothing like that. But
'Cause
Forza
that's 40. That's 40. I think that's 43 million active players.
active user, yeah, they come. Like I don't play Forza nonstop,
Yeah.
like forever. You know, I play some and then I do other games and stuff and then I come back to it. You know.
Yeah. Oh, is that the one from South Korea? Have you tried VR go karts? Oh, VR. Yeah, I can't use VR.
VR go. Oh, you mean like a real VR headset thing? That sound kind of fun if you to do that like that.
Yeah,
Go
okay.
karts? I know. I haven't tried that.
Hello, Chris. Whatever makes you feel better. Good luck as Sony is burning down. It's just big zinc. Zinc stays on point.
They are in trouble, and this is why I've said that. Honestly, I'm not even trying to do no console war stuff. Honestly, the PlayStation gamers should be concerned about Sony because they're struggling to put games out when they're asking you guys to buy remakes and stuff because they don't have the money to do that. People need to be more concerned about what's happening with Sony and really demand that they give you some answers so you know because you invested so much in hardware over there. It's just you don't really know what they're doing at this point in time.
PC cheaters turn off crossplay. I mean, they gave the option. I was surprised because one of the things that for Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, and then they want that we have an ecosystem, so they want everybody in the ecosystem. Like that's not a Microsoft thing, so I'm surprised they did that.
Right,
That's
right.
how that's how I know how bad it is because Microsoft wouldn't do it before because they want everybody to play together,
They want everybody to play together, right?
and it
Right.
also helps their bottom line,
Yeah.
right? Because
I
the more
think
people,
I think choice is good. And honestly, if you run into a bunch of PC gamers that are cheating all over the place and stuff, and it's unfortunate because the good gamers that just want to play with you can't. But we until that problem is solved, I understand this is what they have to do.
I think like one of the things that they were doing that was good was that they just wouldn't ban people. So like for me, I drop all the time if I feel like and I'm not just for cheating. I have a bad connection. It's a little bit
Yeah,
slow.
right,
I'll
right.
just
Yeah.
drop out of the game. So after you drop out, they punish you. But I don't see them doing that because there's one time I just kept on dropping out of the game so bad, so much so that I just stopped playing and I just came back later.
Right. I've had them times too, because I remember one time my internet, it was something wrong with the wires, but I didn't know at that time. I just kept restarting my modem and resetting it and all that stuff. And I was like, why can't I stay connected? I couldn't even play games anymore. So we called some people out. They couldn't figure it out. And then they looked in the lines and said, oh, we got to change all your lines. They kind of just old, at this point, and they had to change them
Yeah,
out. So that's why I couldn't stay. I had a period where I could not stay in a game. Same problem.
that sucks.
It does because I was so mad. I might have had, I may have had a good game going too. And I lose it. You talk about mad. I was furious.
David says it's shocking how bad PlayStation games have been. Yeah,
Yeah, like
it's bad that they don't have. They haven't really
Spider-Man
released
2 was
anything.
broken as heck. I was shocked that thing even got nominated for an award being that broken. I mean, it was bad. And people was talking about um Redfall, but Redfall was still playable. I mean, I thought some of that stuff, like you saw people going through floors, and I didn't see any of that in Redfall. Like none of that kind of stuff happened in Redfall. I saw like people clipping their videos of them playing, and they were going through the floor, and I was like, what? It was pretty bad. So yeah, it shouldn't have been released in that state. So some games have been released in a poor state. You know.
Yeah, I know from my experience, like sometimes the vampires wouldn't activate. Other times it was uh, like not to the floors, but they would just be stuck. Characters would be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the other one though that's the one that kind of bothered me was that when I go around because I play a lot of games that you collect stuff,
Yeah.
and so if I can pick up, I could tell that the game wasn't finished because when
Oh,
I
okay. Okay.
yeah, because when you're running around through storage, so you get to the point where you're just trying to grab a lot of stuff because you're gonna either use it later, turn it in, or do whatever, right?
Yeah.
So then there's stuff I run into the room, I go to pick up, and I pick them up, and I go to the next room. Then I'm trying to pick it up. Then I'm going through to pick up, and then that one item that I picked up in the other room is not active in that room.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like if it's a pack of cigarettes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you can collect that to turn it in for something else. I'm just saying as an example. But
Right.
then when I'm in one room, I can pick it up. When I go to the next room, I can't.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a bug. Yeah.
yeah. So stuff like that.
Yeah. That's
Um,
that's that's what I consider sometimes like game breaking bugs. Like like you really can't progress the way you want to, or it's affecting your experience so bad that you just kind of have to wait for a patch. You know?
yeah,
I
yeah.
hate those type of bugs.
Zig says, was asking us if we tried Ninja Gaiden Black 2. Yeah, dude, I
Oh
played
heck
it.
yeah, I got an active. Yeah, I'm gonna be going to that later on today. That game is so fun. I got my
Yeah,
butt handed to me. I'm right now. I'm getting beat up by a boss, but I think I'm gonna get past him. I just got to get used to his patterns.
yeah, like I was playing the one character and I forgot I had to use my, what was it? Remember how I beat him and then I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, now I remember. And then I got fucked up. Plus, look, dude, when you old, man,
You
you
forget
have to,
all the time, don't you? Like it takes a while to remember.
well, even my reactions, like I was trying to pull off the combo. I'm like, I was trying to pull stuff out. I was like, dude, I'm losing my mind. Like, I'm losing my, not my mind, but my reflexes.
Yeah.
Yo, Sony is still charging $70 for Gran Turismo 7. They trying to take
To this
Nintendo's spot.
day? Oh wow, that's
They need that
crazy.
money, Zing. They need that money.
I don't know because I don't. I'm not. I got. I'd never bought a PS5. I still have my old PS4, but I don't play on that thing no more.
Yeah, that's Microsoft or not Microsoft. Sony put them IPs on the corner.
Yeah, jeez. I mean, they still charging 70 like that game just dropped. Like what? Wow. They
That'd be
think they're
funny.
Nintendo, don't they? Because
Oh,
doesn't
that's what I'm about to
Nintendo do
say.
that?
That's what I said. They're trying to take a Nintendo spot.
Oh no, but Nintendo actually can sell their games and they got more support for
Well, you
doing
know
that.
what I think is funny if they do put like yeah, Gran Turismo is $70, and then they put Forza Horizon 5 on there for $39.99. Oh my
Oh
gosh,
gosh, everybody go flock to that.
that'd be so
That's
funny.
true. They would. Yeah.
Then PlayStation be like, all right, buy Gran Turismo 7 for but if they have it for $70, like $64.99.
Yeah, because see, that's the thing. Sony is bringing games over there that can actually put pressure on their own games. And
Yeah,
Forza is a brand that can do it.
they should just hire Phil already. They just fired that one dude, Herman Hulst. They should just hire Phil.
Yeah,
Sony should hire Phil.
you think they wouldn't if they could? They probably would. They probably have offered Phil some deals like, hey, Phil, you think you might be interested in working for PlayStation? Now that happens, I'd be terrified, man. I'd be like, okay, now that's a real threat to Xbox losing him. Because
No, like not. He'll still be Xbox, but they'll just have him do the American branch of Sony.
what? They would never go for that.
Dude, I mean, it's funny because they got, like I could see them regressing. But if I don't know, just I was watching and I was like,
If
oh,
they took Phil, they want all the Phil. They want it. But
I
I
don't
don't think they
know.
can afford Phil now because he's had several raises and everything, new
I don't know. I
positions.
think Phil could actually make them some money.
He could.
He's like,
He
here, we'll
could.
just bring our games over here, and then you guys can buy this games.
He would just turn them oh yeah, don't expect no exclusives because he can get rid of that.
Shoot, we might have Sony we might have PlayStation in our showcase,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, you probably would. Yeah.
No, seriously, right? Because it'd be like, oh, we have this game, and then they'll be showing PlayStation playing on a PlayStation
Yeah.
console, right? Like how we do with our games, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you can see that. Okay, let me read David. David says PlayStation is more dead looking than the Marines in
Marines and
Halo after they
Halo. After
reflected
they
the first time.
Oh shoot. Yeah, they got some serious problems. And I just think that the gamers deluding themselves into thinking that brand is healthy is just beyond amazing to me.
Uh, hey, what's up, Gogo? He says Xbox will be fine. Making money will keep it afloat.
Yeah, they making the money is not even the problem no more. Xbox is making money. They don't.
Problem.
That's not the problem. Is selling the consoles, but I think they understood that would take a hit. I think they knew that. I think they figured out some things though with this next console that they may try that they think can correct that. Because I think they plan to dominate in every category, but not in the sense that people think. If you know what, like let's just face it, the Nintendo hardware is like I just be looking at that Nintendo hardware and I'd be like, dang. I know they supposed to have good games and stuff, but I'd be like, dang Nintendo. Like, gosh, do I have to go back in time just to play your hardware? I'd be sick of that outdated hardware. And they got competition coming with other handhelds and stuff. So I don't know.
They were showing a clip of the Mario Kart and everybody was like, dude, it looks like the other Mario
It
Kart.
looks like I know. I was just like, I don't know. I don't know what to say about Nintendo.
I mean, for me, I'm just like I just exit stage left. I was like, yeah,
Yeah, I know. Hey, I don't have one, so I'm like, I'm not the target audience. And, they're not trying to impress me, so they're not telling me to get one.
David says, Sup Zinc, how many games are you playing this year so far? We know the game that Zinc is playing.
Yes, Gears, unless it has Gears of War in the title, it's not much. I'm just kidding. I don't know. He's actually played Ninja Gaiden Black too. So
Yeah.
uh,
Oh, Gogo
so
said he plays it too. It was awesome, so fast.
it is. It's fun. It's real fun.
Oh, he's playing Sniper Elite too.
Oh, Sniper too. Oh
Oh,
wow.
he says, but I've been playing the Sniper game. So I'm assuming it's the newest one. It dropped
Yeah,
this.
yeah. It just dropped in Game Pass, I think. Yeah.
Chris Jones and the winner is Astro Bot.
Oh my gosh. A rip off of Mario. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry, Chris, but it was. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, look, PlayStation has the talent over there to make original concepts. They need to do that because that wasn't right. Ripping off Mario games and stuff and then putting it in Astrobot. That was just wrong.
No, what did they say? It wasn't rip off. It was paying homage.
That's what they claim. Yeah, it's ripping it off. Get out of here. No, it was a complete rip off. I was like, it's not fair to the people who actually made the Mario games. It's just not fair to those developers who came up with those ideas and implemented them and built the games and stuff. It's just not fair to them. No.
Well, all these guys are like, well, if Nintendo ain't gonna upgrade, we'll upgrade for them.
I mean,
Like
I
I
think
said,
Astrobot has a good. I think it can. It can be a great little platformer, and I'm sure it's a great, as they want to call it, homage to Mario games. That's why they had to acknowledge it because everybody saw it, right? But I just think that it is not going to stand on its own feet as an IP if it's copying everything. Like it's one thing to copy a few things from other games that you've been inspired from, but it's a whole nother thing when you can look at scene for scene for scene that you can like different parts of the game all from other games that you've played. That's a whole nother story. Like I was just like, dang, that's not good. At least Xbox can say Ori is Ori, right? It's got its own story. Now,
mm,
platformers are all platforms. They all follow certain rules and stuff. So that's a genre thing. But nobody compares Ori to other stuff. Ori is Ori. Nobody compares Psychonauts to other stuff. Psychonauts is Psychonauts. That's what Astrobot has to be. Has to be something like that.
Gogo Pole says, or Zing says to Gogo, I'm on my second playthrough. Dang, on Ninja Gaiden
Second
2.
play. Dang, you know what? You made me look bad, Zeke. I'm not reading nothing else from you anymore.
Yeah,
I've been dying from this boss. Oh man, Zeke. You made me feel like an inferior gamer.
I mean, I know I definitely got to go back because I put the money. I should have stuck with one weapon.
Oh, that's what I'm doing. I like the staff. I made a
Yeah, that's what
mistake
I've been using.
switching. I can't stand the claws. I just said no, I don't want the claws. So I'm sticking with the staff. I like that better
Yeah, I should have
personally.
put all my money. Yeah, I should have put all my money in the staff,
That's what I
and then
did.
go
I
back
got
and
it.
put it. Yeah,
I've
do the
leveled
sword.
it twice. I mean, well, once so far. I'm trying to get enough money or whatever those spirit orb things so I can do it again. I want to get that thing strong because I love that weapon.
Zink says, "What? That was no to playing Sniper Elite. I'll download it when I get home." Yeah, Sniper Elite is awesome, dude. The
Yeah,
series. I don't know about this game. The series.
the
I like.
series is good, very good.
David says, "So something funny and interesting happened with the pony, JTech. He got caught sucking at Doom 2016. Oh yeah, he showed a video of him
Oh, he
playing.
can't play Doom.
Uh, it's what you expect. Like if they got Halo, and
Oh God, yeah, they're gonna die miserably with Halo. They think Halo is like any kind of shooter, and it's not.
it's interesting because I mean the only thing I'll say about it is like guys like him have so much opinions on stuff, but then when you see them their gameplay, it's like,
They
oh,
can't play. Yeah, yeah, they
I mean
can't play that.
I suck at Doom, but I would tell people. And the
Yeah,
reason I suck at Doom, like David, I couldn't play the latest Doom because I get sick.
yeah, yeah.
Like I get kind of nauseous, man, and then I have to stop playing. I force myself to play it. Even my daughter was like, "Dad, stop playing," because I was getting headaches and stuff.
Uh,
So when I see the new Doom, I'm
that
kind of
one.
well,
Uh,
I'm excited about it because it seems heavy. You know,
yeah.
like the movement seems a little bit more. It's a single player.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty. I mean, I know some people are not happy already. Most people are excited about it, but I see a couple
I
people.
heard a lot of good things about the new. You talking about Dark Ages?
Yeah, Dark Ages. But so there's people that so like me, I'm excited about Dark Ages because it looks
Yeah,
like I can play it.
it does. Yeah,
Because the character seems weighty, seems heavy. You'll be using a shield and you'll be blocking because it's not a constant moving forward.
yeah.
Because in the Doom Eternal, when I was playing it, when I was moving forward, man, I was just getting nauseous. Like I was like, oh,
Okay.
shit.
Yeah,
So this
yeah.
one looks like I might be able to play it because yeah. So I can have like the Outer Worlds. I can't play Outer Worlds.
Oh, you can't play Outer Worlds,
No,
really?
no. There's something about it. It's like
Wow.
kind of there's a little jank to it that makes me that sticks out to me that I can see.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so the same thing with Minecraft. I can't watch my kids anymore play Minecraft.
Oh,
I
that's.
can play it and be fine, but if I'm watching somebody else play it, yeah, dude, I get nauseous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, weird. I mean, I know I'm older, so it's probably
It, it,
and I've been to the doctor for I had to go for what do you call it, vertigo. So I have
that I have vertigo, but that must mean that the screen movement is your trigger because everybody have their triggers. For me, it's
yeah
heights. Like if I'm on the top of a stair case or something like that,
yeah.
I look down. It's a trigger for me.
Oh, okay. Oh
So
yeah, that makes
I
sense.
think
Okay.
everybody have different triggers.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was the thing. Everybody was sharing that. I was like, so that's what I mean, dude. You know, and they don't even think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so busy, like all up in their own thoughts, and they you know,
Yeah,
they just
JTech must have really embarrassed himself if David brought that up, though. It
no.
must be
But it's
bad.
funny because like he didn't even think about it himself.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the thing that got me. I'm like, bro, with all the trash you talk,
Yeah, he does.
that
Yeah.
alone should have made you, you know, put some perspective. Like, look, I ain't gonna lie, dude. I mean, when I with some of my run throughs in Ninja Gaiden, I've been embarrassed myself
Yeah,
with some
I
of my
say
playthrough.
yeah, I got my button. Look, this boss battle, man. That's why I don't like Zinc no more. You know,
Well, you know,
because
like
I got
before,
beat up so bad.
like running on the walls and leaping off and catching the things up,
Yeah,
man. You know, I'm a
yeah,
little slower now, dude. So I'm like,
yeah,
oh man, you know, I'm like, dude, back in the day, I just would have ripped this, man. But now,
yeah, yeah.
Xbox Online, that would be hilarious if Forza Horizon 5 were 49 on PS5 to undercut graphics. Oh, so I said that, but you probably said that before I said it, right, Zing?
Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
was thinking the same
yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, bro. I think that would be like, I would even go 39.99 because I mean, Xbox does that already with. Well, maybe it's a privilege for us to have. You know, we have the ecosystem, but still, you know what I'm saying?
It is because you think about it. Unless it's a third party, we really want. We don't even pay full price for any game. Like if it's any most all Xbox games go into Game Pass, which is 20% off right there. Any Game Pass game in there is 20% off. And then like it, it it would you just have to pay for any like third parties that's not in there. And then for those, because you might be busy playing a lot of Game Pass games, you can wait for sales and then buy them. So like I don't know too many people who actually pay full price for those games.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
think
them
that's why
don't.
they've come up with the ecosystem that they have.
Right.
So instead of because most people what they do, right, and we all know this, right? Unless you're hardcore, you buy in the game day one. Most people
Yeah.
don't do that. They wait for sales. This is why
Yeah.
Christmas and holidays seasons
Right.
are important for
Right.
console guys because
Right.
that's when they get the bulk of their stuff. But instead of waiting for Christmas, they'll just do it now. They'd be like, oh, some people
Right.
buy the people they know that are paying full price, like the people that go to opening weekend for the movies, right? You got those guys; they're gonna pay,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So what they did was you just moved that schedule up with the game.
Right.
Within a couple of months, like within 1 or 2 months, or maybe sometimes a couple of weeks,
Hmm.
the game will be on there and it'll be discounted.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. So yeah. Just be a little patient. But I just tell people, I know things are tough for some people. So, just do your budget gaming. You want to still buy games, that's great. And you still want to own games, that's great. Just don't do it in the way that it harms your budget,
And
you know.
don't feel like I tell people this all the time. Don't feel bad about Game Pass or don't let me
No,
don't
because
let.
you already paid for it. They got the money up front.
Well, but you're again, guys. Just take how much it is a month and multiply it by 12.
Yeah,
That'll give you a better perspective of why I tell you that. You're
yeah.
paying for this stuff.
You paying for it, exactly.
I mean, and Microsoft, look, they're not dumb. They're like, okay, we just we can't catch you on the front end, but we'll catch you on the back end.
Right, right.
Because if you actually think about it, like if you only, that's why my friend was telling me, like, that's why he doesn't have Game Pass because he feels he doesn't get the value out of it. Because he'll just go buy the games he want to play. Because
Hmm.
if he had Game Pass, he would play those games in Game Pass, but he would only play those games. So he's not playing every single game that Game Pass is putting out.
Oh, okay, so he's not trying new stuff. He's not trying different games. Okay,
Well, he
yeah,
would
then
like
it's not
to,
for
but he
him.
gets busy, so he just ends up playing COD or Destiny.
Oh, okay, yeah, then it's not for him, and that's fine.
Yeah,
In some cases, it's better for people to just buy the games.
yeah. So he just
You
said,
know,
"Well, I might as well just
yeah,
buy it,"
yeah,
you know. And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, that makes perfect sense for you know what I'm saying. That's totally understandable." So
yeah,
that's why I try and let people know when it comes to Game Pass, don't feel like you're not cheating. You're getting somewhat of a deal because of the variety of games you get to play.
yeah,
But if you're not one of
and
those
the
type of
amount,
people,
yeah.
I mean, people be doing that with Netflix. That's why when Netflix raised their prices, people will drop out because they're
They
like, "All right,
drop out and then come back in. Whenever you get people who come in when it's something they really like, they watch that and then they drop back out. That's again that's obviously that's something that Netflix doesn't want you to do, but people do it, right? So I don't know too many people who drop in and out of Game Pass though. Most people I know tend to keep it.
you probably see it more if it did reach the 120 million subscriber count, because that
Okay,
means you have a lot of more regular people,
right, right. Not hardcores,
not
yeah.
hardcores. Google Poll says, "Is Sniper Elite is fun doing invasions or getting invaded?" I haven't played it yet, Google, so I'm not sure. Maybe Zinc can answer. Well, no, Zinc hasn't played it either. Right? He says gotta
No,
download.
he said he's gonna download it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna get to play it. I love Sniper Elite, bro, but I mean, I'm on Creatures of Ava, and then I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
What's
you
that
got
called?
too many games you juggling. You
Yeah,
got a lot of games.
was it Eternal Strands?
Yeah, Eternal Strands. I've heard good things about it. I haven't played it because I gotta make time. I got too many games. I'm getting pretty deep in Fallout 76 too. That's my ongoing game. That's one of them. Like I didn't realize that game would be as fun as it is, but it actually is.
Yeah, once you get your, especially when you first start, you got to go through all the
Yeah, the
regular
little
things of a Fallout. But
right.
once you get moving past that,
Yeah, once it gets started, it actually gets fun. So yeah, I don't know. They got me, darn you, Bethesda. They got
yeah,
me.
yeah, they know what they're doing. For me, it's COD.
It's kind, yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost at the cusp of the elite.
Oh
Um,
wow,
I
jeez,
mean,
you've been playing a lot.
prestige. Yeah,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I did. Yeah, you've been playing like crazy. Like, yeah.
no, I can't really say. I mean, I'm just trying to get that prestige level.
Whew.
Because then somebody like T would be like, "Oh yeah, but did you unlock this?" Like
Oh, T
T
probably
unlocks it,
got
the
that.
skin
Yeah,
and the badges and all that. I don't go that deep.
yeah. I wouldn't go up against T. That he's like a
Yeah,
maniac when he goes in them games, man.
I played with him and Gogo one time. I was like, dang, dude, that guy's tough.
Yeah.
I know my role. I know my place. I'll do whatever I need to do to get to Prestige 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me address what Chris said. Chris said, play Unravel if you like indie games like that. Unravel, I heard it. I heard of that game, but I have not played that, so I have to look into it. I've heard
Unravel, yeah. I think it's on.
Unravel. I'm
It
sorry.
should be on Game Pass or EA Play because of EA Play, right?
Oh,
Pass.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, anytime people give me good tips about games, I'll look into it.
Cohen says there are a lot of anti-woke people saying dumb stuff about Doom: The Dark Ages, about the game
Oh
being
gosh, don't
that's difficulty
please.
slider. Difficulty slider.
Because it
But,
has
but
a difficulty slide. They saying something because it has a difficulty slide. Oh my gosh. Look, I know
I don't know how that's.
hardcores don't care about that, but if they give you options, that's the whole point. It's options. As long as it's not forcing you to play a certain way, I don't care. What individuals do in their game is up to them.
I
That
don't know
doesn't make
where
it woke.
I don't know where the woke would come in on that.
It doesn't. That's why I think people just use that term like for everything now. It's lost its meaning because they're using it improperly.
I know that there's a debate about whether it's a Christian game or not. I've seen that.
Uh,
I thought that was interesting.
like if it has like subtle images or like themes into it. I've seen people do that about any game though.
Well, there's Christian gamers that are like it's a Christian game because we kill demons.
Oh, okay. They think because you're dealing with what is like angels and demons. Okay. I mean, who
I
knows? I
whatever,
don't know.
whatever.
I mean,
Yeah, to me, I mean, like for
so-
me, when I play these type of games, it's about I do have a component of good versus evil. I like.
yeah, I do too. I mean, Diablo is the only game that I ever played. I felt it was just too dark for me.
I think Diablo is evil.
Diablo was dark as heck, man. I felt
Well,
like
the
I
new
just
one.
wanted to off myself. Yeah, that new one. I was like, Jesus, game is depressing. It's so dark. Like,
Yeah, I
give me
think
some good stories here or something. Like, gee.
like the last one, the third, right? The third one was kind of cool because it was just so arcadey. Like
Mhm.
it was more fantastical, like fantasy style.
Right, that's what
This
I
one is
thought it would be.
definitely
That one is dark as heck. Them stories. I don't know.
Well,
I was like,
somebody told me that they wanted to go back to their roots because people complain about, like how people talk about COD now. COD is not like really a military shooter. You
yeah,
got people with unicorn guns and smoking
yeah,
weed,
yeah.
guns, like stuff like that. So it takes away the, if you're looking for that military shooter, probably go stick with Battlefield. So yeah, David, I don't know why they would say that, but it's the soup du jour.
It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't even apply to that.
Yeah, but if you're a true gamer, you play every game. And then
You're gonna play it, and then you're not gonna mind that a game gives somebody some options. You're just not gonna care because you don't have to do it.
a
So
woke difficulty. Damn, that's a new one.
a woke difficult. I think they making stuff up. Goodness, they don't even make no sense.
When I was playing games back in the day, you did that. They just called you a punk. Oh, well, you can't play on difficult. What is it? Medium? Or you can't
Yeah,
play on regular.
people look down on you if you played on easy. And that might still be true because I don't play on easy, but there's people who do.
Depends on the game for me. Like not easy, but like I'll play normal
I do normal
because
because
I'm more.
I don't have the time to fight with a game for too long, so I have to do that.
Yeah, like Ninja Gaiden. I just play it on regular.
That's what I did normal because I probably take me way too long to try to beat it, and I'm too busy. So
Well, I just wanted to go through the flow.
mm.
It says also Coco says also the Lonely Mountain skiing game is really good. Chuck. Yeah, I played it, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Lonely
pretty
Mountain
awesome.
skiing game. Okay,
Yeah,
is
so I
that
played it.
indie? Is that
It's in,
indie?
it's
Okay.
on it's on Game Pass.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I played it. When did I play it? Tuesday, because I played the bike. They have a bike one, downhill bike or something like that. But
Oh, I think I saw that. Yeah.
yeah, so
With a
that's the
bike.
first
Yeah.
game I played that they had, and I loved it so much I bought it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'll say Lonely Mountain Skiing is even better.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
That's
I don't
pretty
even
cool.
ski.
I have to try it. I have to try it.
Oh, it's worth a try. It's pretty like Coco said. It's pretty chill. It's fun. There's a multiplayer component to it, which I think is cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can go as a group going down the hill and stuff like that. Google Poll Unravel is great.
Unravel is great. Okay, so he's second. He backs up Chris on that. So
Yeah, and then there's a second one that's Unravel too.
Unravel too. Okay.
But yeah, thanks guys. We're gonna have to wrap it up.
Yep.
Yeah, because I gotta go shopping.
Yeah, I have to go too. So it's glad you said that because I was gonna have to stop at 4. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No worries, and I appreciate you coming in,
Oh,
Dea.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, and again, guys, I mean, whatever your you can also comment. I know we're gonna wrap up the video, but the comment section, I'm getting better at addressing it. So if you feel any kind of way about the Xbox brand, I like and all my stuff, guys, is internal about how I'm gonna move forward. Like I'm
Mhm.
actually thinking of changing the channel name
Oh, okay.
for this one because and it's not just because of Xbox, but the other stuff that I do on my channel as well.
Right, you do other stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think I wanted to. Speaking of brand, I wanted to be on more brand with what I do with me. So I'm probably going to change the channel name to Sega Forever instead of Xbox All In. Letting you guys know now because if you guys see that or if you don't see Xbox All In, that's probably what it is. So
And
I don't know.
that doesn't mean you're not going to talk about Xbox. It's just going to include other stuff, cultural stuff, like you talk pop culture, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, because one of the things I'm having is that people message me directly, right? And they're like, "Hey, dude," I have one guy tell me I should stop doing the politics, you know. And I was like, "Look, bro. I mean, I know not everybody likes it, but you don't have to listen to my stuff, you know. But I'm not going to change." And so I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think I need to, and then like pop culture stuff, right? I want to get back on that. So it's a more varied channel besides Xbox. So I'm like, yeah,
Right,
it
right.
speaks to who I am. So that's why. And this is before Phil dropped the whammy about Forza Horizon, right? I've been
That's
thinking
true.
about this for a couple months now.
And also you were already trying to do different stuff with
Yeah,
that. You were already talking about pop culture, politics, all kind of stuff. So, it fits it. I understand it,
yeah, and you guys already should know how I feel about. No offense, Chris, but I just think Sony sucks. I'll be honest with you. So I ain't ever gonna go over to Sony or PlayStation. I'm too old to be playing Nintendo. And I can't play on the Switch anyway because I got a bad neck. So that's why I don't even play
Yeah,
on my
yeah.
phone. So it's going to be Xbox for me. And I'm not worried about the console going away anytime soon.
No, it's not going. Yeah.
Yeah. But they just got too much stuff, man. You cannot not ignore. You can't ignore everything that they have. Game Pass alone um, is worth the price of admission, regardless
Yeah.
of what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy at this point. And like Dea said, look, like I said, I was in my feelings a little bit. And I kind of wanted to be there, but I mean, if you look at what they said, and if you guys are kind of late, go back and listen to everything she said. It makes absolutely perfect sense. They're just going a different direction. There's new paradigms that they're gonna. There's new paradigms they're gonna go through. There's new ceilings they're gonna break through.
Right. Right.
I mean, again, at the end of the day, these guys have a lot of money. So
Yeah.
let me read David real quick. Ponies hate first-person shooter games, in case you couldn't tell, unless it's exclusive like Killzone. That means ponies aren't willing to play anything but third-person movie games because that's all those games are. Yeah, and I would even throw back that I don't even think Killzone was that popular as well. I mean, they said that was going to be the Halo killer, and that was nothing of the
I
fact.
think people need to quit cursing. I don't care if that COD is on Activision is now part of the family. They ain't never gonna kill Halo. Halo is gonna be around forever. They're just not going to because it's a unique shooter. No other games really play like it. So
Yeah, and then we watched the special that they talked about Halo. Halo's going to go in some really different direction, guys.
yes, it is. So I don't think Halo going anywhere.
Yeah, they're gonna not just do the main Halo game. Sounds like they're gonna branch out and do some other
Yep,
stuff.
they
And
may
I'm
do
not just
some
talking
different
about their
genres.
turn-based stuff either. I mean other stuff.
Right. I think they're gonna do different genres. You might see another like Halo Wars and stuff, and then you might see other stuff on top of that. They probably gonna have different lead protagonists and stuff like that. I think they're gonna try a lot of new stuff, with Halo.
Yeah, yeah. Sink says, "What? No 24-hour show? No, not today." And again, thanks to DF for showing up because I mean I thought the other guys would come in, but it's midday for most people.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But
And
yeah, so again,
I told
plus,
you I would try. I left a message in your
oh
chat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus for me too. Just be honest with you guys. I mean, I've been I gotta go shopping. I gotta get my daughter up, get some stuff
Hmm.
done. But yeah, man, I've been watching the NBA draft,
Oh
WNBA
yeah.
draft.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
liking it?
dude. Man, it's pretty nuts. They got an expansion team at
Okay.
Golden State, so that kind of threw everything out of whack. And then some of the moves that some of these teams are making.
Right.
I mean, it's something that it's just like playing ID at Xbox games. Look, I love COD as much as the next guy, but like Gogo said, then you play down. You got every once in a while you got to play a downhill the what did he say? The skiing downhill. That what you talked about.
Where is he? Where did he say that at? I don't know. I'm trying to follow you on that one.
Which one was this? Gogo? Oh yeah, Lonely Mountain skiing game.
Oh, that. Okay, okay. I was trying to follow you on that. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm playing like COD, and then I play my COD, and I'm like, oh, I gotta switch it up, right? So then I'll go play that game, or then I'll
Okay,
just on
yeah.
Ninja Gate, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I like about watching the WNBA. It's something that's different. What it is they're transforming, and I like that, right?
Right. It's exciting too because you
It's
don't really
exciting, yeah.
know where
New
they're gonna go. Yeah.
franchises, yeah. The level of these players are definitely, they've come a long way,
Hmm.
and then you discover some of the older players that are pretty good. But yeah, dude, I'll be watching this stuff, and I'd be like, yeah, dude, I want to get into it like I used to be before.
Right.
And it's easy to do so, right? Because they're trying now to appeal to a lot of different people. So they're putting their stuff out there, right? Because they want to draw the people in. So it's easier to find the stuff, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
So, but anyway, like there's a bunch of other stuff that I gotta get done as well. So
Okay. No,
in
no
fact, my
problem.
favorite episode, a new episode of my favorite anime is coming out today, so I get to watch that too.
Oh, okay. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. But anyway, yeah, shout yourself out there, and then we'll call it a podcast.
Well, I am Dia 4568. I'm usually lurking around in these chat rooms, but lately I haven't been. I've been too busy. I'm so sorry, guys. But I at least wanted to hop into this podcast and see how everybody was doing. I know some people was taking the whole Forza going over there hard. I really wasn't. I kind of understood what Phil was saying along the way, but hopefully the things that I told you give you better insight. I'm not saying I know what they're doing, but I'm pretty good at analyzing what people are doing and trying to put things and makes things make sense for people. And so I hope that what I said earlier, if you haven't heard that, please listen to the full podcast. Go to the earlier part of the podcast and you'll hear what I said. But hopefully those things will put you at ease and to let you know that Xbox has a plan. They kind of understood that some things had to go, but some things will get better, and it's a trade off. And once you understand that from that perspective, you won't be so mad at them anymore. And it's just and as far as the ponies is concerned, don't let them get you all upset and wound up because Sony is headed in the same direction. They just much slower. And regardless of what anybody tells you, they can no longer sustain what they were doing in the PlayStation 4. That's just plain facts. So the whole industry is changing, and just know that I think we're in a good place. And so hopefully that today's podcast will give you a little hope, let you vent, but also give you a little hope.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, and that's again, that's I have my like I said earlier in the podcast, I have my own hangups when it comes to this kind of stuff. But the interesting thing again yeah, is I'm looking at as far as the Sony thing with Japan, that'll
Mhm.
be pretty interesting.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
them looks like they're just gonna be so Sony looks like they're gonna be totally Japanese controlled is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Japanese have completely taken control. So it's going to be a mainly a Japanese company, I guess, moving forward. Maybe if they do what you say, they get rid of their Western division. So we'll see.
Yeah, because old boy stepped down, and I'm not saying like they're not gonna focus on, but if it becomes more Japan centric, that would have been interesting to at least kind of watch what happens from that.
Right, right.
Um, I mean, they own a stuff stake in anime as well.
A lot of it. They're monopolistic in there. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah. So little things like that.
Hmm.
Like to Dia's point. I keep on saying Dia. It's Dia. It's the Hawaiian in me because everything is Kia. It's
Oh,
always
okay,
Dia.
no problem.
So Dia, right? So to your point, right? It's the mechanizations, like I always like to say, right? Of everything
Mhm.
going on, right? That can take me out of my little humdrum attitude with all of this stuff because it is interesting, and I do like that about the industry, like the
Mhm.
changes and stuff. I might not agree with it, but I
Right,
will say this: it is interesting to see everything unfold, and
right,
and, and I say that to say again, that's not going to change that in the channel. We're going to talk
right,
about all this kind of stuff,
right,
right? And so that's again, I'm not changing it because it's nothing personal, right? It's personal in the sense of the way my channel is going forward, so that people can distinguish, like because like you guys might not know this, right? Google is trying to uh, is going to eventually, I guess they're going to start shutting down people that it's like if so if I'm saying on an Xbox All In channel,
uh huh,
then most people would come here like wanting Xbox stuff. But then
Yeah.
I'm talking about like Squid Game 2. And
Oh,
even though I let
okay.
people know,
Yeah.
right? So if I see Sega Forever, that's less of a corporate. I mean, I know I have Sega in there, but as a fan, I don't think people would mind that as much as if I'm actually saying Xbox. Plus,
Right.
look, let's be honest with you, dude. Like we have Chris, and Chris, you're more than welcome to be here. I'm not picking on you, but you know, when you have the Pony guys coming in, or the PlayStation guys coming in, I should say, Chris. You guys start coming in and watching our channel, right? So, I'm like, and then you're gonna come here one day, and I'll be talking about like what Elon Musk is doing.
Yeah, right. We
Trying to
kind of
turn
be
us
all
into
over the
androids.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you put this chip in your head and you can drive you can drive your
Yeah.
Tesla. You know, so you know when I start talking about stuff like that, you're probably gonna be like, okay, this dude's crazy. So anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, so Xbox All In channel, we'll say good forever. We out.
Bye.